화이팅!
DNS 퍼스 화이팅! 화이팅! 하나 생명 화이팅!
The LCK Cup. Welcome, everyone. Hi. Welcome. Hi, I'm Atlas. I'm joined by Wolf. We're here for the LCK Cup at the beautiful Chijijik Low Park. And yesterday, I think we probably need to acknowledge it. Some commiserations need to be thrown out. KT, probably one of the most disappointing games so far this year. And it will probably remain that way for the remainder of the year. It might even be the most disappointing game of the decade.
It could be.
아니야,
There have been some
저도
disappointing
그래,
games from some other teams.
I mean, DNS Pro, though, like that is the example,
들어갔어요.
right? Like that's what they're up against.
Yeah,
I was happier at the end of that.
but there was also this team that had a disappointing game against Bro as well. And I have noticed a trend, Alice. When we take a look at the standings, you'll see that Group Baron and Group Elder are even at 8-8. We keep having 5 game days where one team from Group Baron is triumphant, one team from Group Elder is triumphant. So either we'll get the expected result today if this trend continues with Genji and D+, both being the victors, or sorry, not Genji and D+, Genji and Hanwha being the victors. And so moving their groups to 9-9, or D+ and DNS both win.
Right.
And the upset happens with DNS taking out Hanwha Esports. And with how Hanwha is looking right now, they're both on the same scoreline. It's not impossible.
I don't think so. And I actually think, based on our initial result here, the evening out of the groups may actually reign supreme, right? That is the most important thing at the end of the day. And so in order to get 9-9, if DNS wins, then DK has to win. So if you're a DK fan, definitely be rooting for DNS here in our very first series of the day. Having a look here, Baron third versus Elder third. Not exactly what anyone was expecting moving into this week of play. But yeah, HLE is sitting on 1 and 2. That's just how it is. Also, fun fact, the only win that Nongshim have got so far in the LCK Cup is against HLE. That is the weirdest stat, the craziest thing, as we do have a World Finals 80 carry rematch on completely different teams here between Dokdom and Gumayushi.
Yeah, this is going to be a really exciting matchup. Guma having a pretty, I think most people would agree, disappointing performance in their last series, hoping to bounce back in a big way here. The team has been doing interviews, like we had an interview with Kanavi yesterday, an interview with Guma yesterday, basically both saying that the speed at which they're making calls, the way they're moving together isn't always fully aligned. Yeah, they're still an incredibly talented group of players. They are very strong, right? But the decision-making needs to be smarter. It needs to be more aligned in-game. And that was kind of the theory we all had, right? Coming into what we saw in those games was that the shot calling is missing Peanut quite significantly for Hanwha Life Esports.
I would say so. I was a bit distracted, Wolf, I'm not going to lie, by just how adorable all the exchanges were. Both Pureshik and Kanavi sharing a little bit of a giggle there, and you saw Peter and Delight doing exactly the same thing. A bit of camaraderie across the rift here between these two teams as we get into it. And definitely very, very heartwarming to see our players, regardless of which team they're on, still just having a great time. Pureshik in high spirits, though, is a dangerous and frightening sight, because we know when it comes to hot and cold players, there is no one that's as hot or as cold as Pureshik.
That is absolutely true. We'll see what Pureshik we get today.
Looking pretty hot at the moment.
DNS 공식 유튜브 채널에 2시간 전에 영상 하나 올라가지고 그거 보고
I'd be scared if I'm HLE type side of things. But we'll just have to see. Some fun matchups here in this game. Dudu versus Zeus there towards the top side of the map. Zeus sort of being the successor of Dudu, who played on HLE for such a long time. And so seeing whether that mantle has really been progressed with the pickup of Zeus, or whether the year of Dudu will reign supreme. It may, if this somehow downfall of HLE is going to continue, or is this where they right the ship? That is going to be the big question.
That's the question, right? I mean, they lost to Nongshim. The last time Hanwha Life Esports lost to Nongshim was back when they had the Karis roster in 2022. The budget Hanwha, that one was not the greatest roster they'd ever put together, but they lost to Nongshim. They nearly lost to Bro. And now, up against DNS, who beat DRX, who are also looking pretty good right now, taking a game off T1, nearly taking a game off Genji, and of course, dispatching of Nongshim yesterday in a very rocky series on both sides.
Oh, yes.
Hard to take too much away from that. we'll see what Hanwha Life do today, because I think one thing has been incredibly clear in Hanwha Life's gameplay so far. It's that the early games, they have been extremely aligned. They have been really strong at snowballing advantages. Zeka and Kanavi could potentially be the strongest mid-jungle duo right now in the LCK. It's what happens when we get to late-game team fights and pushing those advantages around vision and trying to set up side laning where things tend to fall apart. Zeus gets caught in sides a lot, something we've seen in the past. And, you know, Gumayusi's team fighting has been a little bit either too passive or too aggressive. And Kanavi, he only has one mode, as we have discussed many times here. He only goes in, he only is aggressive. And I saw a really funny meme yesterday on Reddit about like, if Hanwha Life esports are a little bit ahead, Kanavi's like, for this lead, I'm going to the empty red.
레드까지 간 건 진짜 미친놈이긴 했어.
If Hanwha Life is even, he's like, I need to get ahead, I'm going to go invade the enemy Raptor camp. If they're massively behind, he's like, what are we going to do, sit back and lose? I'm going to the enemy Raptor camp.
It's an old one, but it's a good one. Still checks out. That code will still get you, you know, past the shield on the Forest Moon. Don't you worry about that one. As yes, one thing that we do need to address here as well is that Fizz Khalifa has kept Australia as the best country in the world in their copy pasta when they start the game. So I think I really do need to echo that we really do appreciate it as long as it continues. So there we go. This match is really fun, and I wasn't expecting, like when I had a look at the calendar, right, and I saw this match, I was like, oh man, it's the Genji DK waiting room. I didn't really want to be here for this one. But now, based on what we've seen, with the fact that DNS stepped up against DRX earlier on, there's a lot of stuff to look out for here, and there could be a chance of an upset.
There could be. And I'm kind of feeling, obviously I predicted Hanwha Life esports at the beginning of the week, but if I was asked again today, I might predict them to lose because they're just too inconsistent and there are a lot of problems mid-game and onward.
제대로 붙어보자.
Huge leads don't necessarily solve, as KT showed yesterday.
전력을
And
제대로
as both
붙어보자.
DRX and Nongshim showed yesterday.
브리온한테 2대1로
Because it's a snowbally meta, and I think any team
말도 안 되는 일인데.
in the LCK right now can get a 4,000 gold lead on any other team. We saw it, DRX got a massive lead over Genji. That doesn't always translate to being able to win those later team fights, especially around Baron, which is a lot tougher to tackle right now.
Exactly right. Here we are in a champion select for game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. DNS on the blue side with second pick, which I will never get used to, as HLE did have right of first selection. And they selected the ability to pick first.
I'm making it a thing, right? So
아칼리?
3 choices.
아칼리를 왜 니네가 매네?
R1, R5, or blue side. Those are the 3 picks.
아칼리를 왜 니네가 매네?
Got it. I still want to just say right of first selection.
Yes, we
as
can say
slowly
that.
as possible.
Yeah, we can say that right before as well.
I prefer to do that. I did want to do the ruffle thing, but it really doesn't make any sense. So maybe I should just I should shelve that one for now and do something that you know, maybe if like say we went to like first stand or
초반에 뽑히는 탈리 같은 거 많이 나오니까 후반 세트에서 아칼리 쓰려고 가져갔나 보다.
And I don't want that. I don't want that from my colleagues because they've never said that before.
No.
Ever. And so
We're
I don't
trading.
want to start now. As we've got the Azir coming on through. Could be Closer just locking in the Orianna, and there it is.
Nocturne was banned, so you could tell exactly the way Hanwha Life esports were saying we're going to take this unfair trade. It's the Azir, but you don't get the Nocturne. Hyoshik's like, well, I've got the next best thing. Well, we'll take the Jarvan.
There's another next best thing, and that's the Xin Zhao. And then everything is going to be true and balanced, and as we expect. There are a lot of things left up and available, though, namely the Nico, which is still there, the Nara, big one, that we don't often see first pick, but when there is a Jarvan already there, you're not as worried about the Vi and things like that. Kanana Vi could come out, though.
Yeah. Varus a classic for Gumayusi, and he is going to lock that one in.
Yeah.
I do love to see when Guma gets his hands on this pick. The Vi you mentioned will be the next step, potentially, although Kanavi teasing us with, or Zeka's teasing us, but maybe telling Zeka to hover Lee Sin, he's thinking about it. But either way, Xin Zhao definitely feels to be the strongest pick in this situation with the picks available. Like, if Ambessa was up, I think there's definitely some leeway there. If you ended up going for Aatrox, I don't think you show it here. The Sivir with the Jarvan on DNS's side makes a ton of sense, and it's also opting into a later game scenario where you're scaling and trying to play through front to back and wave clear, where Hanwha Life esports have been at their weakest in the second half of the game.
Yep. Another really fun fact here that is definitely related to the game is the acronyms from the beginnings of the bans actually both spell words. So we've banned a jar on one side and a man on the other. So that's kind of cool, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
So there it is. That's just a little bit of a fun fact for you guys. I like to add a little bit extra when I am on the broadcast. So there it is. Jop isn't quite as cool, so we're going to ignore.
When you get the vowel in between the consonants, you know, you can make things happen.
Yeah, man-buh also doesn't quite work. They could be trying to ban a man bun, which I would have taken offense to if I hadn't have already cut it off.
Are there any O champions left available?
Yeah, like, if they ban Yunara second on the side of HLE, they could have been on their way to banning the man bun.
Aww.
And then they first ban Nico next game. Oh, it'd be perfect. We'll just have to see whether that is exactly where they're going.
I think it's really interesting that the Poppy is banned here. Poppy has been really terrible in lane, but has been decent in terms of team fights, but it's been nerfed significantly. It's not really very viable in the jungle. The Xin Zhao's already taken away. The Gnar makes a little bit more sense here.
Yep. It also works with the acronym situation as well, because it's kind of like they're saying Ja and then they fell over. It's like Ja, you know? It kind of works perfectly.
See what this final ban will be, because they have plenty of engage. Anything that pushes lane in terms of supports would be something they could have considered. Gnar is the best one. Gwen will be taken away, so Gwen and Gnar out of the top lane. See who makes the first move here in terms of that, because DN Supers do have the counter pick. They can choose top lane or support here. The Alistair feels really safe, and it is a Peter favorite. It also sets up Orianna incredibly well, so I feel like they're feeling really good about this blind pick into having a counter pick for Dudu.
Yeah. Let's see what Delight is going to go with here, as of course his signature Rakan will be locked away. A lot of engage on both sides of the rift here. But being able to get this Alistair through without having to worry about a Sylas is certainly something that's been pretty good in the past. Man, this is a rock-solid composition, despite the lack of Malphite.
There is no Gwen, there's no Gnar.
No Glenn? Gwen. Yes, there is none of her.
And also, it looks like Zahin may be the opt-in here for Dudu. Because Zahin has really struggled in lane, but becomes this incredible threat later on. And into the Sion, you kind of get to skip the hard part.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai is just not a common pick, though. So
yeah, this is less fun, but it is definitely effective.
There are now 5 threats for Gumayusi to deal with in this game. He has to deal with the flanking Rek'Sai, Flag and Drag Cataclysm. The ball carriers are insane in this comp for the Orianna.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Everyone who will also then be sped up by this Super Ultimate. And there's some appeal here, right? Like Xin Zhao and Sion. There's also Azir. Coordination is going to, again, have to be there to keep Guma safe. He does not have a tank support with him in this game. In a lane matchup that should be decent, obviously, for Guma and Delight here, but can be a little bit volatile. If I took the nameplates off, I would feel incredibly good about Hanwha Life Esports' draft, because they have so much frontline for this Varus. Even though there's a lot of threats, it feels inherently safe because he's got so much range. But Hanwha Life Esports have a lot to prove to me if I'm going to trust this composition coming into Game 1.
Yep. Also the fact that Zeka hasn't necessarily been in the greatest form so far over the last couple of weeks, and some of the Azir games have left a little to be desired, right? And he is going to be the consistent damage in these team fights and has to be getting work done if HLE want to be able to win here, because Gumayusi is going to be on Poke Varus, right? So you're not necessarily doing as much of that consistent DPS during the fights. Obviously, the Poke is going to be very valuable. He can steal away all sorts of objectives because he's Gumayusi, but I don't think that it's necessarily going to be the be-all and end-all in these team fights. And DNS, they've got a Sivir. They love doing that DPS. Let's get onto the rift here. Game number 1.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
하나생명 화이팅!
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 1, DNS versus HLE. And I do need to correct myself a little bit. I think I was a little harsh on Zeka. I think the last time on the rift, he was probably the best performing player. But prior to that, we had our doubts.
It's the ups
let's
and
hope
downs,
that he holds on to that form.
Exactly. It's the ups and downs.
자카가
I do think
그치,
that
POM
he
받을
has
정도면
the
큰일 났다는
most
거지.
critical role to play in this game, because he is going to be both an engage tool as well as a potential peel tool for
제카가
Guma.
사실 HLE
And
내에서
his
제일
side lane
취약체라고
pressure is all
평가받고 있는데
Hanwha
이걸
have inside
제카가
because
표현해보자면
they otherwise have a side,
그날
right? And
다른 4명
due to his
다
playing red
개박았다는
side, which is
거니까.
not, you know, Fiora levels of backdoor, but they have the Sivir, so they're going to naturally have a lot of prio when we get to later on objectives in the game because that mid lane is always going to be under Duckdom's control, barring any accidents there. He's also got a spell shield, so relatively safe to continue to make that pressure happen. So map control and vision
보머시
make this composition of
자기
DNS
스킨
so
만든 거 되게
oppressive.
잘
The only way you could make this
많이
harder for
쓰네.
Guma to play is if they had the Nocturne, but that was of course banned away.
Yeah. And I guess the one saving grace is the fact that maybe they want to kill Zekka instead. As level 2 is going to be gained here by Peter, decides not to throw out the Pulverize there as you saw Gumayusi get slammed into the wall. Just wanted to displace him as much as possible, which is understandable here.
Delight, he's playing an old classic. You know, we haven't seen him play it as much recently,
수행할
but this is
라인업
the champ
하기도
he got
편하고
famous for as
Yeah.
far
알리
as his
스타일
bro
가지고
days.
그냥 라칸 들어오면
He
되게
has been an
과감해가지고
incredibly good Rakan player. That is absolutely true. Looking forward to seeing whether he can have one of his vintage performances. I believe he played it in the last series that they played and looked pretty good in that moment. As Kanavi on the screen now, moving down towards the bottom side after a full clear up top. And both junglers at pretty similar clip right now as far as the clear.
Consider also, if you're watching at home, Chrono Life go 1 and 3.
Yeah.
With DRX looking the way they do now, there is a chance this team does not make it out of groups, does not get to play in the play-ins. That actually could happen.
That is actually ridiculous.
You know, it's been the conversation we've had about this team that we know they're going to get it together. Like, oh, they were super far ahead. They kind of messed up the mid game. That Aatrox game everyone remembers where it was definitely going to be Kanavi Palm until things kind of fell really by the wayside. We've been saying, oh, they'll bounce back. But if they don't bounce back here, right, like this is the moment to bounce back, then you're starting to have serious questions about what this roster's ceiling is for the LCK Cup.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. Also a little bit worried about this fight that is starting to break out. 4 versus 4 in the river as they just dive on top of Kyoshik. He flashes out of the way though as Kanavi is now the one in trouble. Can Kyoshik actually escape? The answer is no as Gumayusi picks up first blood. Kanavi likely to go down now though as Doctor collects one for himself. The barrier is going to be used here as Peter with a great pulverizing closer will be able to take down Guma. Flash out there as Zekka gets him to safety, but a 1 for 2 in favor of DNS.
The ones to pull the trigger first were DNS, and that gave him a huge inherent advantage at the beginning of that fight. The fact that Pyoshik had flash, but Kanavi had to use his first, meant that he had a lot more wiggle room, a lot more space to work with there. Hanwha Esports were priced into a situation where they could not really retreat. They had to fight their way out. And unfortunately for them, that is going to result in a 2 for 1. As Kanavi is the one who has to flash initially here when this comes through. He does not want to get flag and drag, so flashes away. Then looks for the re-engage. Pyoshik has his flash to use defensively, and that's really the most important part of this. Peter gets enough time to actually end up getting the stun here as well, and Delight is trying his best to get away. Flashes out. Man. Well, there's just too much damage here. The double pull comes in. The knockback on the Zekka means that he is going to have to flash as well, so it's more insult to injury here.
Oh, a bit of a replay here as DNS fans losing their minds. Oh, is that the DNS guy from last year?
I'm not sure. I think it might be.
Well, he's looking pretty psyched about
I think it is. Like I had to index my brain for a second, but I'm pretty sure that is the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Some famous people in the audience here as Delight tries to escape, and Peter says no. But right now, DNS very happy with how this game has gone. Pulverize onto Gumayusi here as the Boomerang Blade doing a whole bunch of work, and Guma needs to be very careful as Doctorm with a blue buff. Just not really worried about just pressing as many buttons as he would like.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue there for them in that bottom side. Guma had already used his teleport. But because he opted for teleport in this lane, doesn't have any combat summoner to utilize in these types of situations to try to trade back. So this domino effect is really starting to hit hard.
Yeah, you can see closing out, speeding himself up with that dissonance, throwing the orb at Zekka, who will probably look for a reset. Yeah, he does. So level 6 gain, Shockwave now available for closer. It should mean that DNS are able to grab themselves this first dragon, especially with Peter clearing out all of the vision. So DNS actually just going from strength to strength in this game, looking to reach about a 1,000 gold lead.
아니 제카 아지르
and
딱
a great
엄청
start
막
in this game
다른
with
선수들만큼
compositions
임팩트가
that
있는
are
것도
pretty
아닌데 이거.
evenly matched as we wait until later on in the game, right? Like the
선픽
carry
그냥
potential of both an
도핑한테
Orianna
수는
and
없나?
a Sivir certainly skyrocket as the game goes on. Obviously, the Azir is no slouch, but this is one of those games where DNS are probably looking at a late game that they're feeling very comfortable with,
and
even in an even game state.
Not to mention that Hanwha Esports have looked better at this stage of the game than the later parts of the game. And so that's an early trend. I don't want to say that's
아, 잠깐만,
necessarily going to be the truth in every
DNS
game we see,
그러니까.
but it makes you wonder about how this game is going.
야,
It does
아무리
not look like a
팀
positive
바텀
for the
듀오로
moment,
바꿨다고 해도
as this team
작년
has always
꼴찌팀이랑
been shaped by
한타했는데
its
지는
jungler,
건 좀-
right? As far back as like the crazy
아무리
swaps of
초반이라
Lewis
해도.
stepping in
Yeah.
to save the day. When Chovy was on this roster, the jungler who will not be named also was
화살
probably
진짜
to
잘
blame for a
맞춘다.
lot of Hanwha's struggles when they ended up getting part of that DRX
Indeed.
roster in 2023. Grizzly couldn't solve that issue, but once Peanut joined, this team really started firing on all cylinders, right? Picked up an LCK title, and Kanavi, very aggressive, but it's a great start in this game as he's got spell shield.
리질리는 얼굴
Yeah,
바꿔
you can
놀라.
see HLE actually able to grab
들어갔어.
themselves that first plate, and so with a little bit of a shove, feeling pretty good about it. Evening out the CS as well is Gumayushi, and will be able to create a little bit of a lead for himself as they do shove another wave forward. So a better look here for HLE.
아니야 뭐 지켜보자.
As this is going to be another wave crashing through, and see if anything can come of this. Looks like they're just going to be able to chill under turret and get all of these minions.
Wolf, I have to say, it was very fun that you mentioned the G-Riz. It's been a long time
Yeah.
since I've thought about him.
Yeah, no,
And the memory is, it's a nice one. I'm happy to
야,
have it.
그래,
Thank you for
작년에
giving it to
퍼트
me.
I love
우승까지
when we
했는데
have these players, these challengers
그래.
players who are pushed into unusual circumstances.
전차 레이더랑
and rise
코를
to the
바꿔가지고
occasion.
이거.
Yeah.
We've had so many of them over the years. Poby, arguably like the most famous one, just because he's Poby, but. We had Raptors step in for Umpty, I think I want to say, when the a lot of COVID was happening and stuff like that, which is
Johan as well.
Yeah.
Of course, like world champion, standing beside Pioshik as he hoisted the trophy in 2022.
Duckdom was not really a challengers player at the time, but I do remember when Duckdom heroically stepped in with a broken arm. With his cast on and carried I think it was Nongshim at the time. No, was it? Who was that, the roster?
It wasn't KT, was it?
Was it D+?
Might have been.
He's been on. Duckdom is he's almost collected every LCK team at this point.
He's got a lot of jerseys at home. Let's just say that. But it's hard to remember.
He ended up carrying his team to victory once with a broken arm, which was a really cool sub in. Sometimes circumstances happen where you get to see a really cool moment like that. Duckdom is pushing hard.
Yeah, Duckdom looking for the angle hit. Spell shield doesn't quite work out though as he flashes, realizing that he needs to get out of the way. Chains of Corruption not quite going to connect there as Grand Entrance just to re-engage onto Peter. Duckdom now looking for a little bit of an angle here as he does throw out some ricochets, but it looks like DNS are going to be backing away for now.
Yeah, there was some consideration from Pioshik there that because Guma had already used his ultimate, that he was potentially going to be killable there, even if they traded 1-for-1 with his Cataclysm. Maybe he kills Guma, Duckdom escapes, and Pioshik sacrifices his life for it, and it ends up being worth, but they do not opt for it in the end. Guma's flashes back up.
Looks like Dudu having a bit of fun here towards his top side, even if the CS is very even between the two. Making sure that he keeps Zeus as low as possible and will be just farming wherever he would like. I think picking up a couple of plates already and might be able to get another one here as Zeus is desperately trying to get back home.
I think one of the reasons why Orianna and Azir are traded so often is because Orianna is one of those champs that actually have played insanely aggressively and with a high mastery, you can actually win the lane into the Azir pretty well. Yep. And Closer is doing just that. It's kind of naturally pulling up a significant gold lead here. He picked up a kill in that earlier skirmish, so he's just going to continue to maintain a lot of prio in this lane. As we do have a bit of a maybe contest here, late TP.
Yeah, there's a pulverize onto 2 here as Peter makes his way forward. Crescent Guard comes down though as the Cataclysm to bring Pioshik back in as Dudu is coming on over, but Zeka's going to get here first. Closer making his way in as well. Can he find it as there is one of them as Shockwave hits onto 2 DNS. Throw down the Wombo combo and grab a couple of kills.
I mean, the fight at the beginning of this looked like it was a little bit too
콜이 뭐 어떻게
optimistic for
갈렸길래
DNS
저기서
because they didn't have
우왕좌왕하다가
the Rex side. The TP was late. Closer wasn't there, but they were able to kind of bait Hanwha into sticking around long enough there. And then the
아니
follow-up
보니까
from Peter is actually
카나비
fantastic.
뭐 한 개 두 개 먹고 난 다음 빼면 되잖아.
Okay, but there's no damage. There's no damage here at all, and that's a change up. But they get his ultimate, right? And they pull the Cataclysm out to buy time for Dudu to show up, and then Peter sets up Closer for success here. And there was an angle for Kanavi to flash out, but when he misses that opportunity, they're just chain CC'd. They both had flash, could not get out.
Yeah, Dudu there with the flash on Burrow to make sure that they were in the air forever. And now a 2,000 gold lead for DNS. Oh my goodness, don't tell me it's happening. This is not the timeline for today.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's DNS DK right now is what it looks like, Alex.
Yeah, and that's balance in all things. That's how it's supposed to be. It's all right. We're knocking each other up here between the two supports, but a headbutt back onto Delight. And he is just food for Doctom.
What is going on?
Well, DNS are winning, Wolf. That's what's going on. That's what I'm seeing here on my screen.
Now, we came out of a replay there, and we kind of came in at a awkward timing. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about why Delight was there. And maybe what cooldowns he had available, but he did not have his ult. It's coming up in 10 seconds. And he did have flash. He ended up getting caught there in the river, where there is an immaculate amount of vision.
Yeah.
In this dragon, or around this dragon.
That's a free double dragon to come on through as well, and with an Infernal Soul on the rift.
With Sivir.
Oh dear.
And with Orianna.
And Orianna's going the I do damage build, even outside of just throwing my ultimate out. Like, this is, yeah, Closer is going to be very
라인업도 만만치 않아. 작년 결승과
if that does indeed come on through. Dudu is going to get roared at here by Zeus, but just going to throw out a Praise Seeker as Delight, just trying to clear out all the divots that have been put into the ground. Bit of a golf reference there for Dagon. I think he got that one.
If he wants to play a sad tune after getting picked earlier with his Vandal Pipes, he's got those put together now. Both supports building that item in this scenario. I feel that with the lethality bar, it's not as valuable as it is going to be for the Sivir to have that support item there. But still going to be the item of choice. It's just very good at the moment. Even with the nerf coming through, it seems pretty good still.
Yeah, people still pretty keen on building that one. As Essence Reaver and Ghostblade both completed for AD carries. Doctom probably wanting to make it to the Quick Blades to feel really good about how the game is going, but Essence Reaver feels really nice as well, even with the slight nerf to that one. And so DNS just kind of cruising towards a mid-game now, as Zeus will be able to take some more crockery from this bottom lane, but I don't think that's going to be enough to even out this game state. Still 2.2k the advantage for DNS, and we've spoken already about the fact that they're very happy to play this game late, and that is what they're looking at now, just cruising towards that late game.
The saving grace
they can set things up
for Hanwha Esports, or what has to be the saving grace if they're going to come back in this game, is that a lot of this lead is on this Rek'Sai, which doesn't necessarily translate to an insanely snowballing game state. And also that Guma has a lead himself with all the plate gold he picked up. You know, he has 2 additional plates over
캐리픽을 차라리 지워주고
나머지가 제우스한테 약간
한식으로 해도 괜찮을 것
and so
같은데.
maybe this is how Hanwha Esports can just utilize this. Yes, the Sion is behind, but he's still a brick wall. The front line they have and the range that they have to try to outplay the Orianna. You know, Orianna can zone a lot, but it's very reliant on Prio. They do have a setup up here on the top side. Zeka has flash and ult.
Yep.
Ooh, cheeky blast cone.
Making his way in. Hex flash, there it is. Headbutt Pulve onto Zeka. But I just don't know whether they're really going to be able to kill the Azir.
The crazy thing,
held onto.
well, about that play too from Peter with the Hex Flash, his flash was coming up at the same time. Must have been tracking that, so he could have actually Hex Flashed into a flash knockback.
Hex Flash Flash?
Yeah, that actually almost happened, I think, but he did not quite have it in time.
Man, I want him to flash so that he can do that again. Double pulverized to come through here from Peter. But no one there to really do too much about it. Flag damage there from Kyoshik, as now Kanavi's going in. Surprise! As now Doctom on the hunt, looking for a bit of an angle here, but there's the flash in. The quickness onto 3.
오우 씨 미친 갑자기? 갑자기?
that's wiping the floor with
잠깐만 제가 딸렸어.
But Kanavi should be able to finish off Kyoshik and HLE
하나생명.
on the board in a big way.
Yeah, they certainly deleted a lot of that massive gold that DNS were putting together with this one, and the combo was real. Everybody presses buttons together in a choke point. And Peter and Kyoshik again
이로 들어가면서 탈진
too
뺐고
close to the sun, trying to make this play
공을
happen.
한번 밀면서 시간 벌다가
and then they're all in this tri-brush.
락한 들어가고
into the
나랑 같이
Emperor's
들어가서
Divide. It is just
큐로 뚫고
nasty.
And that was Chains of Corruption as well. The kitchen sink hit DNS and there was nothing they could do about it. And even though that piercing arrow does go wide, Kanavi is able to finish off the kill. So that is going to even things out quite nicely here between these two
카나비
squads.
플레이를 예측을 못해가지고 아마 저기서 말린 것
And the
같은데
Drake's obviously going to be important here.
좀 우리도 예상
But HLE
못하겠거든.
moving in the right direction here in this game.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be big in the Guma category, right? When I was talking about win cons here for Hanwha Life Esports, he is now the only one with a significant foothold in this game, but that has ballooned compared to when I mentioned it before. He was like, I don't know, 60 gold up or something. He's 1.6k the advantage now and has his completed Manamune.
Yeah, that's it's a big 2-item spike here for Gumayusi. We'll see what he's going to be putting together next, but should be that these items come through thick and fast for the Varus, as the lethality ones aren't necessarily the most expensive. As Dudu is just going to take this turret. He's tanking it up though, so he does have to vacate. That one will be going down very soon.
When you have your quest complete as the AD carry as well, you get more gold for takedowns. So if you're the benefactor of a big play like that, post-quest completion, you get even more money in the snowball can really roll down the hill.
Yoshi going to get engaged on here. I believe has his flag and drag, but working out where he wants to use it is Delight. Running real fast with that quickness, but now won't have it as Peter is closing in. Not a lot of cooldowns available. And with the Drake coming on up, let's see whether DNS can actually fight for this. Goshik at half health.
I think they might, if they can identify. I mean, look, there's no Varus ult, there's no Delight ult here. The problem is Closer can't get in.
Dudu has teleport, so he's going to take this first turret of the game and then look to teleport in. He does so right now, closing out. Going to get thrown back here as he flashes on top of Zeka. Don't know about that one as he's now running away. There's a pulverized. No, it's a present guard from Kanavi as he does manage to take down the dragon. Kills the cow as well as Dom has to flash out of the fight, but it's a disaster for DNS. And HLE will do exactly what they want in this game. Rift Herald also running amok. As Dudu and Dom, I don't think they're going to be able to do too much here, as Kanavi doing his favorite thing and driving the Rift Herald into this outer turret.
They had the setup, and I mentioned that Zeka needs to be strong in sides in this game. He has a big responsibility in this one, but he has Closer pinned down, and so Closer can't join the fight. And so much about this team composition before the Sivir gets 2-3 items is the Orianna, and the
오리아나를 먼저 들어가가지고
공으로
날려버려가지고
on the minimap. Denying entry. You
죽이지
mentioned the
못했지만
flash as well.
한타에 완전히
towards his
빼놨지.
teammates trying to like sacrifice himself to look for an ult, which he can't really get to the carries anyways. Look at where Gumayusi's positioned. He flashes away. He's just not here.
고만씨가
and there just is not enough
당하려면
damage.
오리아나 있어야
Guma is
된다니까.
massively ahead,
자르반이나.
untouched in this fight, and Dom cannot alone do it, even with the
저
engaged Peter
렉사이로는
with
고만씨
his
절대 못
ultimate.
물어.
Is do not have the tools, despite Delight being down his ultimate. I think DNS eyes too big for their stomach on this one.
Yeah.
살리는 걸
And a couple
잘하는
of fumbles in a row
선수여가지고.
will mean that HLE now have a gold advantage. They also have that dragon stopping the stacking here for DNS. That third Drake could have been very, very nice for a bit of a win condition here and map control.
I mean, so much out of the sails here of DNS in these last two fumbles. And also, Dudu's teleport is now down. Zeus has teleport advantage, so for him to join fights or skirmishes, he has to use his tunnels to get around the map. It's not going to be as comfortable here. Delight?
Yeah, a bit of a pulverize here, so I could be in a little trouble, but does just battle dance his way to safety. So that is going to be A-okay.
I mean, unfortunately for DNS, there's just not a play here, and they sent their Rek'Sai out of lane, so Zeus is chilling, and he can, like I said, with the teleport advantage he has, just join at any time. And HLE really well and truly have that prio and vision advantage I was talking about that they need to secure to get through the mid-game. They're utilizing it incredibly well thus far.
Yeah. And now Gumayusi has a loss. Whisper, he just managed to complete his Muramana as well as Kanavi. Once again going in, surprise, surprise. Finds a pulverize onto two though, just Peter. As Gumayusi looking to try and answer this one. Chains Corruption connects onto Closer, and he's the target. Quickness jumps him up, and down goes the Orianna. As now Dom, the next one on the menu here. Kanavi not quite able to find a win for becomes lightning, but I don't think Dom's going to be able to do too much. As he does have the spell shield, that's going to work. Takes down Delight to start this one off, but Gumayusi's got enough damage, and down will go the Sivir. DNS just cannot find anything. They can't catch a break.
I mean, it's like
한번 기세 밀리는 거 확실히
Kanavi
넘어오네.
and Hanwha were playing a game of chicken here with the Closer. Like, when are you going to ult? You're going to look for this one? They didn't look for the ult on the Delight moments before. And then Closer here has an opportunity to potentially set him up. It's not the ult target he wants. And by the time they get on top of him and he tosses it out, it's way too late. It's no value whatsoever. And I think Hanwha Life should have been perhaps more cautious than they were about engaging into an Orianna and a choke point right there, but they were able to chain the CC. And the patience from Closer, I think, probably not warranted in this case. Really wanted to have the biggest possible impact, and it was just too late.
And now, Cyrildas is done here for Gumayusi. He's hit 3 items. Dom has like 2 long swords in comparison to a completed third item. It is a 2400 gold advantage here for Gumayusi. in that bottom lane and a 3,000 gold advantage for HLE. The first considerable one that we've had so far this game. And it's 21 minutes in, Baron on the table, and with an Azir, that could be taken almost at any time here in this game if DNS aren't careful.
I mean, we started this game off saying, I mean, I did, saying any team in this game can get like a 4 or 5k gold lead on anybody. They didn't quite get that big of a lead, but it was significant. But they fumbled so much of this mid-game that now Hanwha Life Esports have this insanely strong Azir. The Varus is out of control. And Pyosik is trying to do something.
Nice pullback there. Pyosik has to flash to get himself to safety. As in goes Kanavi, gets headbutted back, but I don't know about that.
렉사 이거 바로 쓰면다. 젤카는 우리가 남았고 제우스 이거 막아줘야 돼, 막아줘야 돼. 아, 근데 잘랐다. 카나비
I just don't know whether he's going to survive, and the answer is absolutely not. Double kill comes through for Kanavi on this down, and it should be Baron.
Every single fight that DNS lose, they get like 1 kill back. You're like, aha, I got Delight. And this time we got Guma, got a shutdown, but it's not a trade up. The Baron goes over. In each and every one of these fights, Hanwha Life gets stronger and stronger. And unfortunately, this might have been for DNS, backbreaking loss of the team fight, because now how are you ever going to get Prio back to utilize your Orianna combos? You know, it's really rough here. And it's Pyosik stepping just a little bit too far forward. And Kanavi, he does not hesitate in these moments. If you give him someone to go on, he will. Delight gets the follow-up here as well, so they're really split. And then it's just chain CC.
야, 근데 이제야 좀 약간 팀이 약간 합이 맞네.
This season, by the way, like, he is always where he needs to be. He has the perfect angle, and this has just been a great mid-game for Hanwha Life Esports, changing the identity of the storyline set up a little bit here today.
Well, let's see whether HLE can hold on to this dragon here. As Kanavi and Delight, the only ones really in the area. As Zeka does blast going his way over there. The quickness into the backline. They look for closer, and there's the chains of corruption from Gumiushi.
막혔어.
Help Zeka take this one down. As Peter with the unbreakable will trying to keep himself alive. A massive knockup from Dudu though as he takes out Zeka. He's still at full health, but so is HLE as they look to chase down DNS. Dogdom does have a big
에어본이 몇 번이 나오는 거야? 잠깐만요. 안정적이지 않은데
the Q isn't going to land, and Gumiushi is still firing the shots. Dudu's trying to take out the Scion here, and he's not going to be able to get through the shield. Dogdom trying to get away, and he should be able to do so here as he gets out of the front. Wanted to actually try and kill Gumiushi here, as Dudu, I don't think he's going to be able to seek this prey, as the dragon's still up, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone's sort of taking a nap.
That was a wild fight. That's the fight you're scared of. Remember
알리스타가 이게 너무 끈질겨가지고 에어본을 몇 번이나 맞았는지 모르겠어. 두세 명이 동시에 맞았거든. 알리스타 밀어내고. 클로드 날카로웠는데 딜이 하나도 안 들어갔어요.
Just play bodyguard for Dogdom as he kites back and does an insane amount of damage. I would love to see his numbers in that team fight, because it is probably cracking 7-8k, especially with how much time he spent hitting that Scion. He goes for the risky play after this as well, trying to look for Guma. It does not pan out, but it was so close. So he goes in the brush here, wants to get that damage on the Q return. It's almost enough, but Dudu cannot get the gap closed there.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work, as two Drakes now picked up here for HLE. Back out onto the map a little bit faster than DNS this time around, and will be augmenting that damage ever further. Dudu does need to get involved in these fights, has 3 items and 5 kills to his name. The year of Dudu is going to have to be what they rely on if they want to win this game, as he looks for a flank angle. Now Closer makes his way in with a teleport, and DNS are ready for a team fight. As HLE, they can back away if they would like. Still 1 Baron left on the table for another 14 seconds, then that's...
잠깐만.
Just yet.
Still a playable game here for DNS, but getting back map control is kind of step 1. And they were able to survive this siege. They were able to defend all of their inners, right? I mean, the top one wasn't under siege, but the bottom one was defended. They got vision back in their jungle. That's kind of step 1. And now they're looking to brace for a long, slow lull state before these next objectives come up, where Sivir is just going to be hard farming as much as possible, looking for that 3rd item, or then she can challenge once again a fight for either this Baron, or more likely the Dragon. She can start it up. Dragon, a more realistic take. Zeka should be able to complete his Zonias. I don't know how much gold he's sitting on right now, but he should be able to complete his Zonias before that fight breaks out. But the fact that he doesn't have it right now could be an opportunity here in the interim for
지금
DNS
못
if they want to
뽑는데.
collapse on him in sides, but this is exactly why the rest of Hanwha Life Esports are playing through that top side right now.
Yeah, possible angle here, but Lord Doms needs to be completed here for Dom before he's going to be able to do anything to Zeus, and probably needs an Infinity Edge if he wants to be that huge team fight threat. We saw in that last fight, his positioning, the way he played it was beautiful. If he had a couple of extra items, if he had parity with Gumushi at that moment, things could have been a whole lot better, as he does finish the Lord Doms, but IE does need to be done, as 4,000 gold is the approaching gold advantage here for HLE with full control as we look to this late game. Baron up in 1.5 minutes, 3 minutes on this next Dragon. And DNS, like you were saying, not out of it just yet. But still, it is looking like HLE have just been able to take control of so many of these more recent team fights. They're looking a bit better coordinated so far.
Yeah. The name of the game for Dom, Farming Simulator 2026.
Yep.
Teddy was the first one to plat that game, but we'll see if Dom can just weather the storm. The fact that it's 2-2 and they got that early double means that this next Dragon is not Infernal Soul for Hanwha Life Esports. So DNS could opt to try to just buy some additional time for that IE to come through. But it is a pretty tough margin, I think. And all the stats you get from triple Infernal Dragon is going to really add up anyways if you give that Dragon over to Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, this is the thing. And then you're also risking a quadra Infernal Soul, which is just kind of obscene amounts of damage potential, as Dudu is going to get stopped in his tracks here. Takes a couple of turret shots, but isn't too worried about it. Although, with Kanavi coming down, maybe he should be a little bit worried about it when it becomes lightning. And in goes Kanavi. Still, Dudu is able to take a whole lot of these tunnels and should be absolutely fine in the end. Just Rek'Sai things,
They're
ladies and gentlemen.
to collapse on the Zeka here, but Zeka is very aware that no one is coming to bail Dudu out and is just going to back off, I think. Hides in the tri-brush there, and they wanted to make something of that, but they're unable to find him.
Yep. And teleport's available for both of our top laners as well, so it could be an honest 5v5 if both of them are allowed to teleport in.
I think that the Baron start is something neither team really wants to do right now, just because it puts you at such an inherent risk. And because both top laners have teleport, like you said, you know, they will show up, and whoever has the favorable angle there could actually change the fight, and whoever is not on Baron will probably have that angle. So see what ends up happening here. My expectation is that the Dragon will actually be what the first objective to be started up, unless something crazy happens before then. But even still, Hanwha Life Esports are setting up insane vision on the entryway to this Baron right now.
Oh, you can see Zeus going to have to go back home here, as Dudu is winning these side lanes quite aggressively. Does have a 20 CS advantage and a 3,000 gold lead with those 5 kills that he's put together. I think now that Dudu goes back home, we'll see what he can actually put together, and getting closer and closer to Spirit Visage by the looks of things.
Yeah.
For item number 4, it's going to be quite difficult to kill this guy, as they do catch Delight on a reset. DNS do get that information.
Dom is farming up a storm. He only put a quick cloak together. See if he can grab a BF sword or what his next item is going to be that he puts into his inventory here, getting on his way to that IE. And if they can buy time before Baron to get that, that's probably the best plan. I think trying to contest Dragon is just not realistic. They defend the Baron, like Hanwha Life Esports wanted to trap them there. They set up all that vision, but DNS just farmed and played slow, but played defensively and prevented Hanwha from starting it. They'll have to give the Dragon up, and that's so painful.
Yeah.
But there is still a chance if the IE completes here for Dom, and that is what they're trying to play through. He gets the BF sword I was mentioning, does not quite have the completion just yet.
Also wants that level 16, get as much value out of the On the Hunt as possible. Should be able to grab that from next couple of waves. Not quite at half towards level 16 just yet. But Dudu's level 18, so is Zeus. And these top laners are only going to get more and more dangerous.
They can't get into this Baron pit, and all the deep vision that was reset here for DNS means they can rush this down. I mean, that's a Fed Azir. This is going to be relatively quick, and they have such good turn here. They have so much CC.
Well, they get the teleport out of the Rek'Sai, and that looks like exactly what they wanted. And they're now just going to look to get out of there. Yeah, mission successful.
Now I wonder how DNS approached the next setup here, because you could just put Closer into the bottom lane and try to keep the Rek'Sai topside here. Looks like they're in fact going to try to clear some deep vision themselves. They also have a pretty strong composition for rushing Baron down. If they had the IE, it'd be even better.
Oh. All right, Dudu just going to get sped up there with the distance. And Zeka almost gets through the shield.
This Serpent's Fang here, pretty valuable for Guma. He just picked that one up.
Oh yeah, especially if Dudu's able to teleport into the next fight. Obviously, that is going to take a little bit of time, but he's got a Spirit Visage, and with that huge shield that can then just be eradicated by a Serpent's Fang, that's a lot of value.
I mean, Duckdom is getting so much money. They're giving everything that they can find to him. I thought he was even going to go over and take those wolves. He might after he clears this wave. He just needs that IE. They have to buy time for it, and time is running out.
Yeah, the light. Engaging on him, not exactly the most ideal scenario, as Pyoshik taking a lot of damage. And with Gumayushi not even there, that is a scary prospect. Zeus now pushing in towards this bottom side. It's Closer that goes over to try and answer, because he's the one that still has that teleport available, but Zeus should be able to take this out of inner turret, pretty comfortably.
They did ultimately, you know, make that swap I was talking about because of the teleport situation, but it means that the Azir feels completely free to hard control topside where the Baron actually is. And they did not give him the Merc Wolves, but he hits level 16. He has got to be so close, like a wave or two away. And I see him stopping there on the mini-map. See if he's going to back and take, because that's like literally what Hanwha is waiting for, sorry, what DNS are waiting for right now.
Yeah, we got an ulti used by Zeus here to get down towards this bottom lane once again. He does still have the teleport, as Closer's also got a very cool hat. Kept his arm guard. Decides not to go for the Zhonya's because he hadn't broken that one just yet. So the next fight,
there it is.
Maximum damage possible.
The back is real. Hanwha Life Esports, like, they could try to strike at this exact moment because they saw Duckdom's not on the wave, right? And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They need to send Sion up there. He is coming over. Duckdom has to run as fast as he can back to this fight.
Maybe he has to ult to get himself over here as Kanavi going for the engage onto Dudu. Peter finding the pulverize onto Zeka in the back line. Throws out the shockwave, but it's onto Zeka, who had already gone into stasis, and they take down the counter, start this one off. Zeus is tanking so well, but Duckdom with these 4 items complete is terrifying. Boomerang is Pyoshik not quite hitting the Cataclysm, but there's the knockup from Dudu, who gets into the backline to take down Zeka, but there is Duckdom falling as well. Gumayushi doing so much damage in this fight. Double knockup once again. And Closer is the one who needs to stay alive, but he doesn't. It's Gumayushi that holds the distance. And Dudu is just getting kited around the map and cannot do anything.
Wow, quadra-kill.
If there was ever going to be a redemption game for Guma Sunar earlier this week, this was going to be it. He did so much work in this fight, and he has to critically.
구나이씨가 이거 죽었으면 답도 안 나온 상황이었는데.
Who shows up to the fight late. You can see how much work he does, and this is basically just DNS saying we have a really insanely tanky front line with this Rek'Sai, with the Alistar. You just need to buy time for Duckdom to come here and stop the Baron. They succeed, they lose the Alistar, but when Duckdom shows up, the fight becomes so tricky here. Look at this follow-up from Pyoshik as well.
제우스는 맞아 상관없으니까.
But look at Guma in this moment here, flashes away, gets help from Zeus, and then takes Closer out of the fight from maximum range here. Look at this. That snipe is so critical. If he does not get that, if Dudu kills Guma or he's not able to actually line that shot up, then I think this fight turns out completely different. He now has nearly a 5,000 gold lead over his opposition. I think he might have just won the game for his squad.
Yep, that's a quadra kill. 10-2-7 here for Gumayushi.
He bought the item that does more damage when you get a takedown near the objective, that lethality item. So he's really Guma on the steal right now.
He certainly is, and he's got all of the items. That's as many as you can possibly put together. As another team fight to come on through here as Closer takes another piercing arrow that just does so much damage. Into the backline does go Dudu, looking for the angle there as Pyoshik with the Cataclysm. But he gets chopped up and taken down to the GA. And you can see Zeus just finds so much space. Empress Divide onto Dudu and onto Peter. And Zeus finally will go down to Cinder's fly. But down goes Duckdom as well, and Peter will follow. HLE just getting a little too big to fail now, as Zeus absolutely doing his job, and Dudu the last man standing.
Of course, Guma gets the objective with that massive damage. I don't even remember what that item is called. I'm looking it up right now. Bastion Breaker.
That's why you don't remember.
It's
got a silly name. It should just be called weird metal pickaxe item. That's probably what the name should be.
If you're PvPing, you're suddenly PvEing right afterwards really hard.
Well, this is going to be inhibited down in the mid lane, and with only Dudu there, I thought HLE might be going for the end, but they decide not to. Yeah, just going to back away.
It's that stage of the game where you've got your empowered recalls, you got what you came for. If Duckdom survive, if he respawns, like they know the Alistar ult's coming back up and they get wiped there, they might just lose the game. They have a lot of structures, but better safe than sorry.
두드랑 표식만 딱 들어오고
buying time for Duckdom to
그러니까
hit
이니시는 잘 걸었는데 딜을 넣으려가 제우스가 다 막고 있어가지고
I think the setup is correct, but
두 번째로 들어오면은 또 제카가
who's nearly full build, so
건네버렸고
Duckdom eventually loses his front line
위아래로 그냥
and just gets
다
collapsed on and dies. I still think, despite the fact that it looked like maybe Duckdom was going to be able to carry this game in 2 fights, I think it might just be over. Big shockwave.
아니 이거 제가 치속 터지면 이거 이길 수 있어. 아니면 구매시라든가.
Corruption is going to snag closer, and he's just put like a balloon piercing arrow does exactly that. And that is a dead Orianna. Now you've got Zeka going in, looking for Duckdom. Great spell shield, though, as Zeka will have to go golden to keep himself alive. Can the Civic get enough work on? That's the question. As down will go at least the Azir to start this one off. And that is massive damage as HLE Hail of Arrows finishes him off. And that is going to put an end to DNS here in game number 1. Gumayushi is hungry for that kill onto Pyoshik, but he is relegated to the fountain, and he may just even die. Chains Corruption comes on in, flag and drag for fun, and flashes out of the way, but it's not going to change the outcome of this game. As
넥서스를 끝내며 GG.
Statement game from Gumayushi on his signature Varus. Even pulls out
갑자기 고점이
for a
보이네.
little bit of fun and promptly sells it right after that team fight. Buys a GA, but he looked really good on this Varus. His skill sets were lining up. And that's the kind of play you want to see from your AD carry, a big turnaround.
22년
with
때부터
15 kills at the
바루스를
end
맞지만
of the game, he did a lot of heavy lifting, but I think credit needs to be given to both Kanavi's performance on this Xin Zhao, where he was a lot more measured today, and Zeus on this Scion. He was a brick wall, his positioning was phenomenal, and he just said, okay, I'm going to let my AD carry kill the front line of the enemy team, and which is like 3 people, Arexai and Alistar going through, the Jarvan's getting in there, and I'm going to just 1v1 the other guy, and Guma will get it done. He will kill all of the front line, and Duckdom will never kill me. We only need to mark him with 1 man.
And that is exactly what happened, and it's kind of crazy that this game, after those first 2 Drakes went down, DNS won a couple of fights, and then it was 1 team fight, and HLE, they got a foothold and they never let go. Quadra Infernal Drake, Infernal Soul is just obscene amounts of damage. And like you were saying, the way that they orchestrated team fights with Zeus, always zoning the damage while the rest of the front line had 0 backup, it's the perfect way to play this one out. And what an incredible performance. This is what we wanted to see from HLE. Already, like, this should have happened from day 1. It's taken a little bit of time to ramp up to this, but it's great to see it. But they're going to have to do it again. As we are going to go to a short break. When we get back, game number 2, we'll see whether DNS can fight back.
유미.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the space. And what a roller coaster of a game that was. Although we have a couple of former KT players, KT not playing, it was Hanwha taking the victory here over the DN Automotive Supers in game number 1. Digon alongside Ox
이제부터
and Wadid.
다
Man,
이기는데.
at first you're thinking, what are Hanwha doing? And then you're thinking, what are the Supers doing? And then we kind of don't know who's doing what here, Ox.
Yeah, I think a lot of nervous fans in the first 10 minutes of that game for HLE where things really started to get out of control, but the team fighting was where they really came together and really shone in that one.
It was such a mess, you know. Like, I think it's been a week. I think every single game was like just ups and downs. The team has advantage, just throws the game, and then like it ends up it is what it is, you know. Like, so I don't know. I think especially HLE, they have the issue with the
First, even though we already have Peter up there, Dokdam's a little behind. The thing is, you have a Rakan here versus an Alistair, a lot less damage. You have a poke
아니
Varus
저거는
comment.
보통
And you
근데
look at
위로
how it plays out,
갈만하다
they
한데.
focus on the Pyoshik, but they're committing everything onto him. And in the meantime, you just have this Sivir just free hitting. And look, as the HLE members' HP power start to drop, you still have this lethal tempo, Sivir pumping out damage. There's no cooldowns left for the Varus. And this skirmish, I just feel like it was really hard for HLE to find a way where it was going to go well.
I think many people criticize the HLE shot call, but I think this is actually the pre-plan. I think you already know what's going to happen in the early game at the draft. So you can literally just say that, oh yeah, we don't want to fight. We want to play by our control because we have poke Varus, so we don't really fight for the objective. So I think they're just lack of pre-plans.
I feel like with a Varus, in lane, you often have so much control, but
Oh, yeah.
in those early skirmishes, if someone flashes one of your skill shots, it just feels like you lose so much of your kit, so much of your power.
Yeah, again, a lot of scrutiny around shot calling for this Hanwha Life esports team, and something like that feels a little macro, even more under a microscope. But they were able to find a fight that they wanted because the DN Automotive Supers may be trying to force their hand a little bit too much here with it.
It's not only HLE lack of pre-plan, but also DNS is lack of pre-plan, because this is the fight where there's nothing to fight. Because they won the fight, they got the objective, they got 2 drakes, they got grubs, they got everything. But here, there's nothing to fight. And also, because HLE lost the last fight, they had all sums up. So they could actually spend more for this fight. So this is no point. Like, why DNS is taking fight on top side without any purpose? I think this is also, in terms of the pre-plan, I think you should know that you already have the advantage, like huge advantage from your early game, and I think you should just keep stacking your drakes.
It just felt really disrespectful, especially going in that choke, not looking at the Rakan right there, and the setup for the Azir bouncing into the Varus. Guma got so fed off the back of this play.
Oh yeah, he got 2 items after that. So.
Yeah, and then after this was the fight where DNS stabilized the game a little bit, kept the gold deficit at 3,000 gold, and have an opportunity to pick a fight around the Baron pit, and unfortunately don't sync things up in highlight number 3. And Dan, you have 3 thoughts here. It's 3 thoughts with Ox.
Yeah, so the first thing, which I think is really major, is Peter goes in very early and tries to get the jump on Zeka. But Zeka has Zhonya's, so they end up burning the shockwave and getting really low value from it.
저
And Peter
피했었네.
basically just dies for free as a result, so already off to a bad start. I do want to mention that Dudu ends up getting pretty massive value on the Rex side. Throughout the fight, he's doing a ton of work, manages to get a lot of knockups in this fight and a lot of value, a lot of kills. But unfortunately, it's not enough because we see Zeus and Guma focusing down this Sivir. The flash from Zeus and this former T1 Unison, the synergy between these two, doing a great job of shutting down the enemy carry. And really, it's on the Sivir to carry these fights, and with the Sivir gone, Dudu's trying his best, but he's 1 against 3, and he just can't do more.
I think most of the time when the DNS lost the advantage, I think it was really poor to see how they combine their skill shots. For example, like we see Alisa stacking up his stun, but like the shockwave was already procced, so it's like not hitting anything with their skill shots. So you can see it from the gold graph. They had like huge advantage in the early game, but still, you know, they're not synced at all, and they don't know how to like plan before the fight. So this happens.
I mean, look at that. Look at the time there at the bottom. That's like 15 minutes at the same gold lead there because Hanwha weren't able to transition it into a game-winning play. But again, huge shout out to Dudu for making it happen. Year of Dudu. Still doing his best, but the DN Supers are on the back foot. It is 1-0 Hanwha Life Esports. Let's see if it's a 2-0.
Thank you so much for the breakdown, gentlemen, of that game number 1. And yes, let's see whether HLE can finally do it. Well, I mean, they have managed to win one of the series so far, but we haven't necessarily seen what the orange tank should be capable of. Right? And with a swift 2-0 here, I think we're going to be feeling pretty comfortable moving into the remaining games here of the LCK Cup group stage.
I also think it cannot be overstated that we had 4 players playing arguably their best champion of the season so far. And maybe you could say Zeka Silas is where we should put that one, but the Guma Delight bottom lane was playing Chorus and Rakan, and you had Zeus on his Sion. So let's see what happens when the draft gets a little bit less comfortable, as DNS have R5'd here.
Yeah, they have R5.
Oh,
whoa, okay, B5'd.
Picked red side. I don't think any team has done that yet.
So wait, we're just swapping sides. It's gonna be the same thing. It's just exactly the same thing. So HLE red side once again with first pick, which was exactly what we had last time around. And let's see what can happen here. Is of course things are going to be different. This is Fearless, and so a very different draft is what we're going to be looking at here.
No team would ever pick red side. So my theory about this 3 naming convention was going to be perfect.
Well, we could also have Jar and Man banned away again, which I think would be really cool if that was to happen. And I really like really cool things happening. Akali ban, please.
I think the Akali ban was because Zeka wanted to go for the Azir and ban the Nocturne, so I don't think they'll ban it this time.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Not Mr.
Mister.
It's
we could have Mr. Letter. It's Mr. T. Letter.
Mr. T could be banned. That would be pretty cool. Oh man, imagine if that happened.
They just banned Taric in that 3rd spot.
Yeah, we need a Taric ban. That's what we absolutely need.
They could ban Talon as well.
Talon could be the ban. What's something that would make Timo? It could be Mr. N, because that'd be like Mr. No from James Bond, because it could be a Nico ban. Nico ban could happen. Mr. P.
Mr. P still.
Who's Mr. P? Did anyone have a teacher?
It's just Pantheon. It's just he's Mr. P. He doesn't like to be called Pantheon.
All right, so Mr. P getting banned away here on the side of HLE.
Pantheon's not his real name, anyways, right? Like,
and they stick with the jar. They stick with the jar on the other side.
And Bessa's taken away again. Vistock's that makes a lot of sense as a first pick here. They will get Nico, Corki or Yunara, whichever they prefer.
But Yunara into Vi? Are we ever feeling good about that?
It is pretty tricky. Feeling a little bit better about it when you get the Wukong.
Yep. And Wukong can do some tricky stuff. We have seen Kanavi use his ultimate on a clone before. So that might be something that they can lean on again.
It could happen. I'm really curious what the game plan is going to be in the bottom lane here. Does Light want to pull out the Bard? Try to match a range in this game, or do they want to go for more engage instead? Because Corki is probably your best bet, but with what is the real question? With whom will he be laning?
Indeed. Could be just more engage here for Delight, but you probably want something with a little bit more power.
Akali.
I like Ari more, because I think it's a little bit more safe setup. Has not been very popular as of late, though.
Yep. The Aurora is something that Zeka has just had a phenomenal series on. So we did see him last time out really have a great showing, but this will be a pretty standard combination.
Another Talia Rise game.
Wow. Slams the Ahri. Okay. I don't know about that. I've always kind of hated the Ahri into Talia, but we'll see how we go.
I don't really like it either, especially because the Wukong setup is just not as consistent as Vi, and basically doesn't exist pre-6, so...
아리바 이조합 가고 그다음에 탈리아랑...
What else they have in mind? Because they have, right now, only engage in their composition.
근데 탈리아가 살아있는 와중에 탈리아를 안 가져가는 것도 이상하긴 하다.
He does, but that means if you've got a lot of engage, then you can catch him after he presses the escape button.
That is true.
제카 픽 순위 보면 항상 아지르, 오리아나, 탈리아, 그다음에 오로라 순위니까.
The Corki can work really well with it, and it's just insane value with the single target they already have. So that's a really smart ban. Even though when you think about the 2v2 alone, you might raise an eyebrow at it. I think for the greater composition, it's very powerful. In terms of 80 carries here, do you really want to ban some of those 80 carries that are great to blow up single target, like the Yunara, like the Zeri? Probably not. You're probably happy if they lock it in. They opt for it anyways. The Yunara does have a lot of lane power. And let's be real, Duckdom was trying to 1v9 last game, and giving him a champion where he could potentially do that is probably a bad idea.
I mean, he wants to play Aphelios, though, so I don't know, like, maybe banning that one would have been enough.
He might play Aphelios here, but I think playing Aphelios in this comp when you opted for Nico is so tricky. There's no Thresh, there's no Lulu, there's no safety. You're just going to have to hope the Wukong and the Nico ultimates peel enough for you. I think it might be a bridge too far.
텔리오스를
kind of has an escape, right?
하면은.
The Xayah in this situation, I think, would be a very bad choice.
그럼 이제 덕담이
I hope they do not do it.
하지 않을까?
Duckers would never do it to me.
아니네,
This time,
이쪽이 먼저네.
well, Mr. Pudge has been banned away here by HLE, which I very much enjoy. I don't want to try and do the other one because it's just falling down the stairs after saying Jar.
이미 나왔지.
Duckdom and Peter, what are we locking away here?
Ezreal
would be the choice.
Ezreal's pretty safe here. And has decent follow-up to the engage that they have in their composition.
Ooh, this is some tech that we had seen
아이,
prior.
It's really common. It's really strong.
바드?
There's a lot of different things you can talk about with how this duo operates differently than the Lucian Nami. But instead, the Bard, which is safer in lane and also can help set up Talia, is going to be the one that
오늘
gets chosen here.
보니까
It can also ruin
하나비랑
what DN
딜라이트가
Supers
되게
are
많이
trying to
되더라고.
do. Mess up the Nico, Wukong setup, and really prevent Silene collapse. Like, there's so much utility here.
Yeah, the Tempered Fate can be so incredibly game-changing.
Not to mention
against this composition.
You already have Weaver's Wall, but you can get the Vine in some pretty creative places as well with the magical tourney.
Wow, Zayas thinking about an Aurora top. That would be a choice, and that is what they're going to go for here.
It's blind as well, but it feels pretty difficult to punish this pick.
Yeah, I wonder what the choice is going to be here for Dudu.
Is he just going to play Ornn?
Just plays Akali, and we've got two mid lane matchups. That'd be kind of fun. But instead, it's the Dusante that is going to be his response.
I really liked how simple DN Super's last game draft was with the Orianna, you know, the scaling Sivir, the wave control. This draft for me, I feel, is quite piecemeal in what it's trying to do. And the Cassante is not going to have prio. The Ahri isn't going to have a lot of jungle assist power, whereas Talia Vi has been a combo since Talia release date. And
the dawn of time.
It is one of the strongest, in my mind, I think has been the best in the early game performing mid-jungle duo in LCK Cup thus far, Zeka and Kanavi. And so there's just not a lot of agency in the early game here. Then you have a front line with this Cassante, but it's an Ezreal comp with Wukong and Nico. Whereas on the other side, for Hanwha Life Esports, you have zoning, you have pick, you have a 2-item spiking 80 carry. With the lead you're probably going to generate in lane already, it feels like getting to that position is going to be relatively safe. So it's just Duckdom or bust again. You know, Endless Hunger, Ezreal. Let's see what we can see.
The thing is, right, Ezreal has always struggled at taking down tanks. There are no tanks. HLE's composition is very flimsy. So with champions that have a little bit less damage but a lot of burst, like the Ahri, like the Ezreal, then there's an opportunity for them to make things happen as this game goes on. And they're the ones with the true frontline, right? In the Dusante that they do have available to themselves. And with the engage of the Nico, with the Cyclone to layer on top, if Pyoshin gets his stuff together, or his sheet together, as Wadid would say. Obviously, he said sheet earlier on today. It was nothing untoward. Don't you worry about that. Let's get another rift here. Game number 2.
하나생명 화이팅!
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. On to the rift.
I think it's quite contemporary what it said, because we don't really use slates anymore, do we? We're not living in the Flintstones times.
No.
We use sheets. So when you want to clear the sheet,
honestly,
you press Control A, and then you delete it, or Command A if you're on a Mac. And if you print that out, it's a clean sheet.
So I thought that we were talking about like paper, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's also getting a little bit obsolete these days as everything's digital. But you were talking about like sheets, like an Excel, like
Excel
a
file.
spreadsheet.
Exactly. There you go. See?
Makes complete sense, Wolf. I'm really glad that you helped me out there. I'm a bit boomer brain, as you know.
탈리하고
That's
싶다.
right.
Ooh,
We've
that's-
got a lot of buttons being exchanged here in this bottom lane.
It was
탈리아 재밌는데.
1F for 2 Ds.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the second
Yeah.
F. Wait, no, they're both Ds,
It's
right?
just,
yeah.
Wait,
Wait, no, are they both
we've got-
Dlashers?
They're both
They're both-
Dlashers, man.
They're both Dlashers. There are 3
Doc Diamond,
Dlashers on
that's-
this team.
That's actually crazy that they're Dlashing
For
together.
a second, I was like, wait, is Red Side reversed? Because I saw 3 in a row.
I understand why Kanavi wants to have his flash as accessible as possible because he does just like going in. I think, you know, having that as close to your normal buttons as possible is the way to make that one happen. But I just would not have expected it out of Doc Diamond Peter. Kind of crazy.
Well,
there we go.
Early Nico Ezreal feels favorable, and they did end up kind of, unfortunately, layering both of their summoners. Didn't end up mattering too much, but that was probably not ideal. And at the end of the day, they still got Guma's barrier.
Or at the start of the day, Wolf. This is only our first series.
Yeah, that's true.
Nailed.
Well, it is. I mean, it's 6 p.m., so it's kind of the end of the day. Just
Oh,
not
that's
the day
true.
of League
It
of
is.
Legends.
It's the beginning of the evening.
And you and I are both fathers, so we know that like 6 p.m. feels a little different.
Yeah.
6 p.m. used to kind of feel like the middle of the day. Not
Honestly,
anymore.
now like 9 p.m. feels like so incredibly late. I looked out of the window last night at around 9, expecting it to be like completely empty, right? There'd be no one outside because it started snowing, and I'm an Australian. I think that's really, really cool. So we have a bit of a fight here in the mid lane as Nice Charm is going to connect. Orbital Deception there as well as Zeka throws a rock to the wayside, and Closer is going to win out on the trade quite considerably. But as I was saying, I looked out the window because I wanted to watch it snowing, and there were like so many people outside. I'm like, what are you doing? It's the middle of the night. And then I realized it was 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
Time changes.
indeed.
Koshik gonna get this scuttle. Gonna have a crazy fight around Dragon this game around, I don't think.
이번에는 뭐
we
발기
had
싸움은
last
안
game
하네.
that gave
Yeah, we had a
DNS that lead.
4v4 for first scuttle last time, and now it's just Pyoshik by himself.
안 되지.
Kanavi's evolving.
Yep.
오로라가
He's
라인
evolving into
박아놓고
gang top lane,
그러니까
perhaps, as Dudu is looking quite
다이브?
susceptible at
볼만하고
this point
아,
in time.
나보네.
He is going to go back home,
라인
though. Not
때문이겠다.
actually looking for it as Pyoshik moving on up. We'll be back to farm out his Gromp, as there
We'll be
is
seen.
vision over here.
It's not gonna matter too much because there's no gank opportunity for Kanavi right now.
Yep, but there is now information gained by HLE. Pyoshik walking over that ward a couple of times. Let's walk back up here towards his top side. Zeus is spotted.
And Zeus is like, yeah, Wukong trying to gank in Aurora at level 4
Yeah,
okay.
not too worried about
with a
it.
Cassante for setup. Yeah.
Oh man, Dudu gets comboed there and doesn't feel too good about it. Null Magic Mantle in hand as well as some shoes. Wants to get towards those Merc Treads as quickly as possible by the looks. Unless, you know, it's going to be something else, just wants to get to the rook as fast as he can, which does make a lot of sense given the double AP lanes.
Yeah, that is 100% going to be built in this game, you have to imagine.
Yep. I wouldn't even put it past
곧
him to go
있으면
Spirit
욕
Flash
나오는데.
second as well, which we've seen a lot of.
Yeah,
딜라이트 픽업.
very strong. I'm most curious about how the Ahri is going to function in this composition.
It is Closer, and he's a pretty good Ahri player.
But its setup is so tricky in this
아,
Oh,
용-
actually getting
용은
snared here
탔다.
by Peter, who's having a pretty good time on the Nico. This is one of his best
못
picks
먹어.
as of last year, as Magical Journey is taken here by Peter. There's a lot of damage to Delight, who does have to get himself out. Heal
Yeah.
now off the table.
Well, if Peter can hit those, especially doubles, repeatedly, then the Ahri setup is right there.
Yeah.
All along, it doesn't even need to pop Blossom to set him up.
It's a good point, and it's actually something that I didn't really factor in as we did see this draft, is the fact that Peter is on the Nico. Because he's just really good at this champion. Plate number 1 does go down here. Zeka looking to try and help out.
That could have
Usually
been.
taking some poke, though.
이 되나?
That could have backfired too because Pyoshik was in the area
맞아,
even though he
지금
doesn't have
왔네.
level 6. We're trying to lane.
어.
It's going okay.
Oh.
Year of Dudu.
Yeah. Does have level 6 now, can go all out if he wants to, but getting all out of range of Zeus is problematic, as Kanavi not going to land the Vault Breaker here, as we have the Brad looking for some charms in the river. Delight rotating up, so
I do
does need to be a bit careful.
think that the Cassante pick makes a lot of sense in isolation when you consider, like they picked, you know, second pick, right? They wanted to have the counter pick, and they end up with this situation where they can just index heavily into MR, and Cassante is very difficult to kill.
Yes.
He's just naturally tanky with his beast
아까
resistance
본 장면
and the
아니네.
Corki anyways.
He's still looking for an angle here towards Zeus. Dudu realizing that the angle is going to be try and go all in as often as possible, but you can see looking a little worse for wear. Has already gone back and completed his Negatron cloak.
Zeus is so close to being able to kill him actually with Between Worlds, but he
니코랑 이재리얼이
respects it and backs away.
Yep.
First Dragon goes over to Pioshik actually with that bottom side prio. That's pretty significant.
And, okay. A little bit of a snare onto Peter there with the Cosmic Binding. Nicely done by Delight. Stop any more aggression here. As Dr. Arm down to 50%, so does need to be a little careful. But with a decent advantage at the moment. True Shot Barrage connects onto Delight, takes him down to 50%.
Seems like Ohm in the coaching booth after game one was like, do not fight them until you have your ultimates and you have the right setup. Do not hands check Kanavi. I'm asking you to just make sure the bottom lane's okay, kind of be around there, but do not engage unless I come in coach comms and tell you.
Well, right now you can see they are definitely listening. As just a bit of a back to come through here for Dr. See whether he does have the Sheen at the ready. And
you know,
does put that together now.
They could quite literally use the coach comms and coach voice as a leash for Kanavi.
That might be a good way to do it.
They haven't really utilized this strategy yet, but I do think that if you tell him not to do it, he'll probably listen.
Yeah. It's like you get the phone call, and Kanavi's like, oh no, Dad's on the phone again. As Charm is going to hit him. There's the Cyclone as well. Tempered Fate, just to try and buy a bit of space here as the Seismic Shove comes through closer. Looking for the angle, Orbit Deception connects onto Kanavi. Pioshik makes his way through the magical journey. Great Charm to connect onto Light, who has to flash to get out of the way of Peter's Tangle Bobs.
So this was the even game state do enemy Raptor camp variant of the copy pasta.
Yeah, a little bit not as optimal. However, you do have to do it to try and create that advantage, as you said. That's what I learned, Wolf, from you earlier on. I'm really glad about that one. As Gumiushi walking towards Dr. and Peter. I don't know whether he really wants to do that. Really wanted access to the wave.
Is he trying to trick him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like now they got the TP coming from Delight. Like I think he successfully may have baited them into an unfavorable position.
Well, we do have Zeka moving down.
It's working!
Finding onto Peter. True Shot Barrage comes in as now Zeka throws out that volley. And Peter not going to get hit by that Seismic Shove. That was a little bit optimistic as Gumiushi taking a lot of damage. Minions doing some work there as well as Doctom's Arcane shifting forward.
And Closer should be able to get some plate gold in the mid lane as well. Initially, that looked so weird what Guma was doing there, but it looked like there was definitely some intention behind it, and yet still did not work out as well as they would have hoped. If that shove hits Peter, then I think it's a completely different story. Now, a plate will go to the Ahri, but the plate will also go over to Zeus here in the top lane at the same time, unrelated.
Yep. Pioshik moves on over, wants to be able to grab this last grub that Zeus is going to be a little bit annoying about, but with a smite, Pioshik is absolutely fine, able to lock that one down. As Little Rocket to annoy Doctom.
I could have barriered that. That's probably what he's telling himself.
Shouldn't have been shopping. As 400 gold is the approximate lead here for HLE in this early game. Definitely looking better than game number one, and they won that game. So probably feeling very happy, HLE at this point.
I wonder how it must feel to be Duckdom in this type of scenario, because there's probably more things going on in his mind than like, I'm just laning in a pro game here, since Guma was the MVP who denied his team from winning a world championship just a few months ago.
Yep.
And that same man just shoots a rocket at him and delays his back, and he's like, ugh, this Guma guy is ruining my day.
Well, certainly going to continue doing so here if he lets him, as now Zeus going to get thrown out of his Between Worlds. Looks for some weirding here, but going all out is Dudu, finds the flash, but there is the blast cone. Dudu avoids it though, so he doesn't get further away. He finds the Q, max range, that's the Dusante!
Absolute insanity, and the timing of the all out during the Between Worlds almost feels unreal that he's able to actually pull it off.
I'm really
아니
surprised
지인한테 솔킬 따위까지는 뭐 그래 이해를 해서 두두한테 솔킬을 따위는 건 이건 좀 다른 문제거든 이게.
Because it's like during the slight like animation
오로라 데리고
Between Worlds is happening is what it looked like. We'll see the replay, no doubt, but in seeing a mechanical play there from Dudu and is able to get the max range Q3 to snipe
아니 웬만해서는 딸 일이 없는데.
He's like, I'm a range champion at this one specific moment. Just look at that. As he's trying to go Between Worlds, gets pulled in. Blast Cone helps him survive for now. But
That
then
sidestep was that was blind.
he's just like, how do you like playing against a ranged top laner?
Yeah, man, that was everything he did there was perfect.
It's actually crazy. Maybe it is the year of Dudu.
I think perhaps it's the year of Dudu and the year of Vikler at the same time. It has to be.
It was the year of Closer last year.
It was. And look, we haven't seen him pop up just yet. He's got his malignant stun.
또 딜교를
Maybe there's a
똑같이 당해
chance
지금.
for him to find an angle. As Dudu with his Rook and done misses everything, but he doesn't
칼을
have to
갈았네,
hit it
이제.
because he did the cool
He didn't
play
have kill
before.
pressure this time.
Exactly.
You hit it when you have the kill pressure.
Well, he is going to be able to find Zeus here. Look, he just takes no damage. Now that this Rookern is done,
이게 원래
he is just
오로라
able to walk
푸드한테
Zeus over
적어도
and
And
over
they're going to
again.
get Double Dragon again, potentially, here. Pryo is Closers right now with his ultimate up. Very difficult to challenge this Dragon. If
Yeah.
you're HLE, I think DNS are just going to get it.
Let's see whether Kanavi can do anything. The answer is no. He's just going to be backing in the Tri-Brush. Decides to cancel it. Let's see whether they can find an angle as Doctom. Oh dear, there it
이걸
is. Cease and
들어간다고요.
desist can't come down, but he swaps targets
하나요.
to the clone.
세 명
I'm not
맞았고.
sure about that one. As now Closer comes in, but there's a
지역권도
seismic
깔렸고.
shove. And Zekra is
아무
going
일도
to stop
없어요.
that one from happening. Wow, Kanavi. Was that what happened? I don't want to like throw him under the bus because it was very confusing, but it's almost
Yeah,
like
I
he
need to see
had
it
an
again.
Ezreal right there and decided instead clone.
Yeah, that was very peculiar.
We'll see in the replay.
Yeah,
Maybe
'cause
that's
I-
not what happened. I think that's what happened.
I was looking at Delight because I thought he was going to set up a really big turn with his ultimate, and then his ultimate hit nothing as they were retreating. But instead,
기분 탓인가?
Kanavi just did not actually end up getting the pick onto Duckdom there. Duckdom did not flash or spell, or not spell shield, but a barrier in that moment either. Stayed calm and collected.
오늘따라 땅콩이 그리스도.
Yeah, let's watch that one again.
I think we'll need to. As right now, DNS have gold advantages across the board, but it's only spelt about an 800 gold lead at this point in time. Not really the end
플레이
of the world.
스타일이
We're gonna
너무
have a look at this one more
다르던데.
time. Okay.
So
피넛이랑
Kanavi,
카나비랑.
There are a lot of clones for him to press the button on, and he actually did dive on top of the Pop Blossoming Nico.
yeah, I don't
피넛 같은
really
저런 거
think there's anything weird that happened there that would
교전
have
안 했을 것
disrupted him.
같은데.
Yeah. So it was. There are a lot of clones.
Besides a
available
lot
in
of
this
fake
game,
clones,
guys.
yeah.
So it gets a little confusing.
I mean, it's hard to click on the lantern when there's a lot of wards on the ground. You know, it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Unless I missed
교전이
something there, I think
잘못됐다가
that
아니라
may have been player error.
교전 자체가 필요가 없.
But still, no harm, no foul. No one really going down. But Double
아닌가.
Dragon did come on through for DNS, and now it's a Hextech Soul.
I mean, I guess
if
you-
HLE do the same thing again, by the way. A Quadra Hextech Soul is kind of obscene.
It would be obscene. I guess you could argue maybe he thought that the follow-up wasn't close enough, so he wanted to kind of like use it as an escape and try to rejoin his teammates a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Also just trying to go for the target that's closer to the rest of your teammates to maximize your ability to get a kill.
Exactly.
Something like that. I don't know.
either way,
We're giving a lot of benefit of the doubt here, and we do like to do that.
it's Double Dragon and DNS are not as ahead as they were in Game 1, but the way this game has gone makes you kind of want to trust the individual play we're seeing. Because it has kind of been some individual outplays across the board that really is where we've led to in this game in terms of their position. It hasn't been big team fights or Ezreal or Corki sitting on their item spikes just yet. I mean, this is going to be a bit of a slower start here in this one until those two items do hit.
Well, Closer is going to get discovered here by Kanavi. Does throw out the charm, almost manages to hit Zeka there.
큐만
As
긁었는데.
now looks to get out of the way of the seismic shove, and Zeka actually taking a lot of damage. Closer playing that really
말이
well.
데미지
He was like, well, if
겁나
I'm going to
세다.
ult, I'm going to take
Yeah.
2 half health bars.
Maximize your ability to do work, as Zeka is going to have his back stop. A little bit frustrating there.
That exchange is just Herald here for DNS, so you know there was a reason behind the collapse there, and
뭐지?
when Closer used his
지금
ult,
두개 말고 먹은 게
Pishik
없는데
was
우리.
like, let's see what we can get. They
Yeah.
get the whole Herald out of this for free, basically, and they'll even get a Scuttle.
Oh, free crab on the side? Gorgeous.
Kanavi hates doing his own Raptor camp, but he's going to have
that's-
to do that one here, sadly.
Thankfully, Kyoshik's Raptor Camp is also coming up relatively soon, so let's see whether he can take that one down as well. Dash Cannon done here for Peter, as Docton taking a lot of damage from Guma. Arcane Shift gets him out of the way, but looking a little worse for wear, as item parity between our two 80 carries, and in fact sitting on almost exactly the same CS. Zeka will finally complete his quest, last one to do so here. Does upgrade his Boots of Lucidity.
Yeah, the mid quest sometimes just gets really slowed down.
And also doesn't really matter. It's not one of the scaling ones, so we're not feeling too worried about it. As did he manage to get it? I think he managed to get it.
I could not see, actually.
Some money did pop up, so I'm not going to say that the zoom in was necessary here, as Zeus might be in a little trouble.
He did avoid everything so far. Let's see what he can do next.
Oh.
Yep, gone between worlds here as Closer throws out the Orb of Deception, and I think Zeus
아니 잠깐만요.
Rock in a hard place doesn't really tell the story, as Peter will take a lot of
이거를 왜
damage,
타워를
but
올려?
will be able to make it out safely.
A rock hard plays Charms, Pop Blossom, and Wukong.
Yeah. As
The
아니, 이거를-
Cyclone in this case was not
네.
employed, but that is going to be the bottom turret going down. An interesting place to drop it. Well, in fact, it will be a Talia ult going down. Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
아이고.
Oh, he's going to reposition and still get the charge. Oh, no.
This is going to have to be the first
저
WATV
뭐야,
Talia
저거.
wall
왜
segment
저래?
of the year.
I think so. Let's see whether we will have Woodid there. Hopefully he doesn't talk too much about
아니, 뭐-
sheets, because that makes us a little bit nervous. As Dr.
He's going to start the next desk off with a clean slate, Atlas.
Yes, and I hope he does hold up a
아,
sheet to
나왔다.
explain what he was actually talking about prior. And I hope it's a very clean sheet
아,
as well.
네,
because
이거는
that's what he
먹어야지.
said.
Yeah, with nothing
근데
on
제가
it
공
at all.
빠졌는데.
Yeah, I've got a lot of clean sheets here as well.
바드도 공
We
빠져.
were given those. So
근데
Dr.
내 공
just going to be
빠지네.
clearing out some
좀 크겠다.
minions here in this mid lane as we have the dragon spawning.
It does not look
DNS
like
have a
we're-
lot of control.
Does not look like we're dropping dragons after double dragon here in game 2 for DNS, as
They are just cruising this
아이고.
game.
DNS, by the way, actually good
고마워 지금
team.
피상태 안
Actually
좋은데.
good team.
Actually good team.
I think not going to be waiting like an entire year for a win. I don't think that's going to be happening, as of course they've already won here in the LCK Cup. Okay, taking some plates down as
Zeus?
Yoshik just by himself going to be securing this third Drake.
Zeus is going to get a turret for Hextech Soul Point. I guess that's all they can really get here is... we did supposed to do this one.
We're going to get Zeka TV.
예?
예?
Agreed.
아, 모션 먹어야 되는데.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to
Sometimes-
stop it.
yeah.
He did not...
아이고 우리
I
아기
thought that was a very
갈리오.
great usage of player voice.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's precisely what we need this feature for. As Yoshik thinking about trying to find an angle here, as they do manage to successfully steal away the enemy blue buff, and out goes HLE.
I think League of Legends needs a little bit more stuff like Herald in it.
Yeah.
You know, that can create comedy on the Rift. Nice try, Zeus.
Yeah, very close. Down to 13 health there. Pyoshik is able to lock down his Grump. Very, very important. As Peter clearing out vision where he can. And we are ticking closer and closer to Baron time. But I don't think anyone's really going to be starting that one off anytime soon. Not a lot of like Baron damage. You know, we don't have like the crit 80 carries that want to be doing like massive amounts of consistent damage here.
Imagine
어떻게
if
하려고 그래?
Otacon existed in this game.
No, I don't want.
How easily this lead for DNS could just be.
Oh yeah, it could evaporate in a second.
We would probably because at that time we would know
지금
that
이게
Otacon could
거의
exist. We
한타도
probably
없이
wouldn't even
계속
speak as
이
if
세트가
DNS was in the
계속됐거든.
lead with 2.5k gold in 3 dragons.
I feel like now that Otacon is gone, every single professional League of Legends team just got 50%.
근데 그 와중에
Yeah, they're just
이지스가
way
제우스가
smarter
있어.
now.
이거
Yeah,
말이 돼?
everyone's so much smarter now.
It's
Very, very
crazy.
cool. It's very, very cool.
When you
It's
think
amazing
about-
that a patch can do that.
Like, you remember, like, when you think about where we are in LCK Cup right now in terms of team parity, it's crazy how
아니,
close everyone really is. Like,
교전 좋아하는 저 네 명
lost to
교전 안
Noshim,
했다고?
right? But DRX took a game off T1, lost to this team, who now might also beat Hanwha. Like, it's like we have a lot of good teams in this tournament thus far.
그렇게
Rise
많은
Group's
분들까지
gonna be real
나왔는데.
interesting.
Oh, yeah. We don't even know who's going to be in the
I know.
Rise
That, I mean, the race to escape Rise will actually be such an exciting one this year, I think.
아이고.
Do you know what the best thing is? Maybe Legend Group is just going to be another Rise Group. You know? Maybe that's what it's going to be. Maybe our teams have all just, like, accepted that Rise Group is the way.
It's just Rise and Risen. We'll change the name.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well, Gumiushi did manage to soak the majority of the Mystic shots in lane, and so is struggling here a little bit. There's a cease and desist. They just blow up.
땄다,
Goodbye.
땄다.
That's what happens if you hit all of the Mystic shots onto
땄다.
Gumiushi. You just die.
땄다.
Kanavi just says goodbye to you.
I mean, if you
탈려도
if you put
탈려도.
something in front
아
of Kanavi's
저제부가
face, you dangle a carrot.
Yeah.
He will
믿음의
He'll
자.
bite, yes. And you, if you're scratching your head as to why, then
오,
joke's on you.
잘 긁었다, 잘 긁었다, 잘 긁었다.
Ulti gonna connect here from Delight between worlds, and
Oh.
down goes the Nico. Zeka just bouncing around his circle, and Dudu will survive. But he is looking a little worse for wear, and HLE just coming alive here in this mid game.
Yeah, it's just one overstep from the Ezreal, who has Flash and E. Does not matter. They're going to try to...
답이 나갔지만
pressing
50.
that R button, seeing what he can get done here. But that is a clone that's going to get thrown around. Boza still looking for it. True Shot Barrage from base. As Dr. Arm just announces that he is back alive once again.
They really wanted to defend that turret, which is very important for this upcoming Dragon fight. And with the Ahri ultimate, use it this timing, should still be able to use it for this upcoming fight.
미드에 원딜 혼자 서
This is
있으면
the real
안
story
돼.
here is Dr. Arm is like clearing a control and
응징을
then
너무 잘해가지고.
queuing a Vi. I really can't justify this one in any way.
Sometimes you just want to, like, all red dots are red dots, Wolf. And
It's
that ward was also a red dot.
It's been 80 years, by the way. Like, please fix that quirky spectator. I'm just going to mention it every time it happens now.
Yeah, I remember my grandmother talking about it when I was born.
I actually think that's what triggered the stock market collapse right before the Great Depression was
1분
a
남았다.
bunch of people just lost
용까지
their
1분
minds to the
남았다.
sound of
이건 먹어야
Gatling
된다
gun
진짜로.
forever, and they just suddenly
못
were like,
먹으면
we've
큰일
got to
난다.
sell everything.
It's so funny because you talk about that
칠이라고
based on the
나가는
Great
순간.
Depression. I also saw it in The Big Short. That was the main thing about it.
Ah.
Yeah. They were like, the big thing was like, the big conspiracy was that actually it was all based on a Corky Gatling gun bug.
Like, if they don't fix it, it could actually be what triggers World War III.
It could be.
Or the end of the Earth. So
Yeah.
I think it's probably, it may be the most infuriating thing that exists on this planet. It may actually be the biggest plague in the esports industry.
I also think that it might have been why the dinosaurs went extinct.
Yeah, that's very likely.
Yeah, crocodiles
15.
survive because they have bad hearing. That's why.
Drake,
Right. HLE
빨리.
setting up to try and deny this Hextech Soul. Great
어,
job.
카나메,
He does
카나메.
manage to get
조져.
Mikhails, but into the backline
뭐야,
goes
저거?
Peter. Finds
존냐가
three
있어?
with the pop blossom, but the massive damage from
이거
this
지면 안
Aurora
되는데?
comes on through. Pyoshik looking to try and find an angle though. It's a magical journey, gets to light to safety. And
제우스,
Zeus now
제우스,
finds
제우스
himself
앞에.
alone. Dudu getting thrown around like a ragdoll, but he is a very healthy
두드를 막을 사람이
ragdoll
없구나.
who goes all out onto Zeka looking for the angles here.
오, 제카,
Will be
씨.
taken out as Closer doesn't quite
그만,
manage to
그만,
find it. And the
그만,
flash
그만.
forward from Gumayushi. He sees his targets vulnerable and he takes him down. As DNS, they
진짜
do have a
위험했다.
couple of members left alive, and it looks like we will have another dragon fight.
Yeah, it does look that way. No Kanavi for 8 seconds, and Pyoshik having Smite and being Wukong means that there's just no way to try to start this one up.
아 이게
This fight is
카나드가
super broken up. Dudu comes in here a
잘못돼가지고 이게
little bit late, but still ultimately
외형
with this
맞아가지고.
charm, they're able to get the push onto Kanavi. Pop Blossom here ends up
좋냐고,
being
어떻게 했던
insane value, but they're not able to hit the bio target
아,
shove.
아주
The shove is great. Haguma just sits back and does massive damage. And then Zeus here
딜라 받은 폼
a little
좋네.
bit optimistic, but it's able to help Guma again continue to chip away at this health bar. It's a really long replay. We probably got to jump
여기서
into
제카가 이거
Dragon now.
못했으면은
Yeah, I have a feeling because we do have DNS coming back up, so it's
Oh,
a
shit.
steal. That's going to be
Hextech
Hextech
Soul.
Soul as Pyoshik finally shows up
조졌다.
here at the perfect
아니,
time.
뭐야,
to
이게.
Kanavi as well.
아.
And DNS, I mean, they fell off the horse, but you know what you have to do? Wolf?
장난하지 마.
You
아.
just jump back in that saddle and you start riding away. And that's
Yeah.
precisely what they did.
We didn't get to the critical part of that replay because we had to jump out, but we also kind of missed the beginning of the
진짜
setup there on the
거짓말이죠.
Dragon. But ultimately, Pyoshik gets the steal.
아니 씨발
that is
지금까지
all you
먹은
need. Now
옵제기
we're starting
지금
Baron.
유충 두
Konami's
개라는 게
there.
말이 돼?
Oh, God. Okay. DNS really looking to try and
Ezreal
make
is
use of this.
pretty good
as
with Hextech Soul.
Peter does find a pop blossom
Zeus
onto
어디가?
Zeus. It's not the Hextech gate he wanted to take
아니,
as he
Zeus
tries
뭐-
to go between the worlds, but unfortunately
뭐야, 이거?
DNS is on every side of the world.
아 졸려 뒤지겠는데 30대까지 가야 되네 이거.
Even though they stopped the Baron, I don't know if it's really
2세트에서 노잼으로
a
뺀다 그러니까
positive
진짜
net
게임
result
노잼
here
만들고
for the
3세트 가겠네.
side of
아
esports
조졌다.
as it can clear this wave and at least stop this turret from going down, but it's got crystalline overgrowth. One wave getting anywhere near it means it is going to fall. So technically Zeus' sacrifice is not in vain, but let's go back to this fight here. It's just a 50-50 flip. There's no real secure delay. he's not in position to really offer anything
제우스가
back
아까
in
의미
this
없는
fight. Kanavi,
포탈로
because
타져가지고
the rest of the team
바로
just says, well, we lost it, we're not going to fight for this one. He just ends up
아이씨.
being left to die. Zeus takes his Hextech gate
이거
to try to
이제
actually get a
보니까
flank angle
이거
on
안
the
했으면
top.
바로
I think it's
먹혔어.
insanely good that Peter realizes instantly that he needs to
다섯
pop
명이
off and
전부 다
then
저거
turn
제우스
the rest of the team
노려가지고.
back to focus him down. Hanwha Live Esports cannot follow the play. It was a really cool idea from Zeus there. On second look, it actually could have maybe even saved that fight for them, but the reaction from Peter is instant.
Yeah, Peter just sort of reading the play very, very well. 2,000 gold, the lead here for DNS. The problem is, and this is what I wanted to talk about just prior, it's Ezreal with Hextech.
Yeah, he's like the Hextech guy.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And the kind of things that you can do.
사일감기
Now
뭐야.
has 3 items completed, and yeah, Doctom is going to be scary.
He went Shojin's instead of the Endless Hunger third item, which we have seen really popular, but Shojin's is stronger, and when you hit it on 3, Endless Hunger gets stronger the more AD you put together. And you know, he just wants to, I think, hold on to his lead in this game that he has. I mean, not him over Gumayushi, but the lead that his team has.
Yeah.
The current game state, the objective control
오늘은
they've
구마형이
had,
해줘야 된다,
which has been
진짜.
phenomenal.
And Guru is very strong in this game right now, right? He does have 3 items. Lord Dom's at number 3 will still be able to cut through Guru
탈리아
here,
아직
most
3코어가
likely.
안 나와가지고 딜이 그렇게
Problem
세진
is,
않아.
DNS have Hextech Soul, and it's just kind of silly.
The-
3 minutes on the Elder, by the way, guys,
Yeah.
and it's only 27 minutes into the game.
That's what happens when you get a 4 Drake stack. The crazy thing is that because of the double AP, it's really important for Guma to be fed because the Rookern is there, right, for Dudu. You know, even the Verdant Barrier is high value here for closer. Guma is going to really have to do a lot of damage. He is going to have to be very consistent with his output in this one. He does not have Flash. He only has
AD
Valkyrie to
딜러
rely on. The
그마밖에
siege is
없어가지고
real.
딜 많이
Look at the
나와야
Hextech at work.
조졌네요.
Yep. Doctom is going to continue to do stuff like that as he zaps the minion wave over and over again. And just a little bit more of a minion wave, and they will be able to take down this inner turret as well in the mid lane. Things getting very dark on Summoner's Rift for HLE. And DNS have just kind
TP
of
flank.
sidestep there as Doctom might be able to dive on over as Zeus gets on in. Does do a fair bit of damage there, takes 50% of the health bar of the Ezreal as Kanavi moves over. Pop Blossom to hold onto him. True Shot Barrage to do a fair bit of damage, but Peter, now without an ultimate, teleport does come in from the Ahri though, as Closer looking for a flank angle.
아리
This
뒤로 왔다.
is an awkward fight as Zeus dives around the battlefield. Zekka in trouble though as Pyoshik gets
제카,
the
제카,
Cyclone
제카.
onto
제카 살았고, 아, 근데
Gumayushi, who's down to
제우스가
50%.
죽었다.
Down goes
어떡하냐.
Zeus as he takes matters into his own hands. And unfortunately, DNS have Hextech Soul, and it's just really hard to be a tricky Aurora in this game.
Yeah, in the scrappy fight, when you have the Ahri flank as well from Closer,
아니,
it's really tough to be in Hanwha Live Esports' position in the
뭐야.
Hextech Soul. This is a very, very low health Ahri.
맞아요.
And they are going to come over for a contest. Kanavi does have Flash. He's also Vi, but I think the timing is a little bit tricky.
Yeah, Dudu is at
스테레오,
full
스테레오.
health. He's
할수
so
있잖아.
incredibly scary, but HLE, they could possibly get this one done.
오씨, 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 오씨.
He might be denied an exit from the pit, but they get denied the Baron as
Kanavi.
Beautifully done here for HLE to try and hold on to their position in this game.
Baron worth a little bit less, but the denial here is massive. We go back to this fight here. It is very broken up. Peter zones Kanavi here. It's not the greatest start to the fight because now they don't have Pop Blossom for the follow-up. Zeus wants to go in, but Dudu is just so tanky. And then this flank from Closer really seals the deal with the Wukong engage onto Zekka.
아, 근데 오늘 제우스가 진짜 어그로 많이 끌어준다.
You kind of just lose
네 명이 다
if you
제우스
try to
쪽으로 가.
retreat slowly and kite back. You lose if you try to go in. And unfortunately, Zeus, who was flanking, is the one who
와,
dies.
미쳤다, 카나비.
This timing on the steal is really, really tight here, and also the control vision in the pit
Wow.
is
That
so
tight? Pyoshik just needed to press Smite. It was like sitting at 1300 for forever.
I forgot about the fact that the smite is upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Maybe
that
it was
one.
a little bit less tight.
But it was like that was in slow-mo as well, so maybe it looked a little bit more painful for us.
It's still an impressive steal. And
Yeah.
Kanavi
아직
hasn't
안
had
끝났다.
his greatest game of the season here is at least redeemed significantly from it.
And also, kind of ironically, Pyoshik's lead was 1400. All right, Zeus is dead, ladies and gentlemen.
He is
Closer just
0-6.
finds him.
He's 0-6 in this game. He's trying to be a playmaker, but it is just not working out. This blind Aurora pick.
063은
And that
이건
might cost them
욕
Elder in the
먹겠는데?
game.
Yeah, well, it's
컵이나
serious
이런 데서
time
욕
wolf,
먹겠는데?
and he's playing. That's the unfortunate part. That's all right. I know how this one goes.
아, 이거 어떡하냐.
DNS They have a man advantage,
카는 필요도
but
없어.
they may not necessarily have a smite advantage. So let's just see whether Kanavi can do it again.
I mean,
두
he's
마리씩
only-
앞에
he's got
서줄
vision
거야.
in the pit. Maybe they should clear that this time.
근데
Yeah, they're gonna have to
칼이
go for the turn. There's
와.
a flash charm onto
메카.
Zeus. He does get Mikhail's, but it does not quite work as Kanavi decides he wants to go
이거를
in,
들어가는 게-
desperately trying to save the play, and it does not work. Peter keeps himself alive. Gumayushi takes the magical journey, has to flash, as there is the tempered fate to try and buy some space, but the Elder is picked up. True shot back,
Swish!
and the dragon descends from the skies to get some revenge here for Dr.
Bit of
I think
revenge.
that is all she wrote, Wolf.
이
Bit of
세트는
revenge there
진짜
for Duckers, as you said. Took the words right out of my mouth.
아,
Feeling pretty
제우스
good
왜
about that one.
그러세요?
We'll interrupt his back in this case. As Zeus
아니,
does respawn
오늘-
here,
오늘-
but
오늘
is
뭐-
only
뭐- 뭐
desperately
날이야?
trying to clear the wave to buy time.
Well, you'll see whether it was.
이 뭐야?
The dragon's angry, and Pioshik is going to
Well, he clears the
stick it
wave.
on
네.
to the Aurora. He
어그로
did
또
in
됐네.
fact do that.
He gives them a second lease on life here, although I don't know how big the lease really is.
By the way,
bad analogy.
as far as negative Rebel Baron power plays are concerned, is 2,500 the biggest?
Probably of the season so far. I've seen worse though.
It's pretty impressive.
제카를 잘 먹이기도
Okay, let's have
했는데
this fight one more
Just
time.
a really great engage from
제우스가
closer
빠진 거 자체가 좀
onto
많이
Zeka here,
절망적이긴
taking him
했다.
out of the fight right away, and then they have to start the
카나비도
front line
바로
with Dudu.
빠지든가 아래로
And then
내려가서
this tempered fate buys some time,
장로
but the
봤으면
snipe
좋았을
is
텐데.
still real.
Oh, the cosmic binding from Delight is
이게
fantastic,
와,
but
씨.
it didn't really matter. Zeus loves Hexgate.
So he is able to, despite being
여기서 라인 지우는 거
Yeah,
he
진짜
actually
잘했다.
he only
he
wanted
saved the
to kill
game.
the minions.
Yeah,
he
he just-
only wanted to kill the
he
minions.
just wanted to clear the wave. He is successful.
두 번 정도
So
보면
that
눈에
ends up
들어오네.
stopping
와,
the Nexus from falling. They still have Elder, and they are
어차피
killing the other
조진
things
거 저기서 뭐
on the
앞에서
map.
대체해봤자
Yeah, I
의미
don't think it's
없으니까
going to
뒤로 간
change the
거네.
outcome of the game, but it did stop the game from ending right then.
It was correct. It just didn't really matter necessarily.
Yeah.
위에마가 또 날아간다.
Kind of cute. Let's see whether they have another team fight in there.
Yo.
Between Worlds goes
라인
Zeus once
지우고.
again. Does do a little bit of chip damage as Dr.
아, 라인을 지웠는데
as
의미가
well as
없어.
Gumayushi getting slowed down. Man, Hextech Soul is stupid. It really is frustrating.
It's really crazy when you have that and the Elder.
Yeah.
엘더 먹어도
They
지금
have kind
배치하는 건
of all
차라리
of the
의미가 없어.
things.
라인만 지워야 돼.
Baron's going to be up in 2 minutes time. They've got 30 seconds left of Elder.
어,
And Dr. Arcane shifts over the Weaver's wall. And they were able to break open the base here.
이거 난
Slowing
이거
down. I mean, he
지는 거
has
보고 싶지
Sereldas on
않은데.
top of all of this. Like, this game should not be losable here for DNS.
Oh, you say that, but I was watching yesterday, okay? And where was this bottom lane from?
Berserker was also like, you know,
Oh, no.
I once
아니
sat in
여기서
that
또 가정을
seat.
가요?
Yeah, like this is DNS with an entire KT bottom lane. Wolf, like this is never say that it's not throwable.
I kind of feel like this one shouldn't be throwable. KT
I mean, yeah, of
yesterday,
course it shouldn't
they
be
had
throwable.
Akali, okay. They didn't have a lot of siege. They didn't have great engage to get into the base and end the game. DNS, in this case, only get one inhibitor, which is pretty insane. Like, Zeus is clearing the minion wave. We were like, oh, it might not necessarily matter. If they win this game, it will have been incredibly important.
Yeah.
Because they would have died 100% if he doesn't clear there.
He is
And
one of
now
the most
they're-
useful 0-7 Auroras
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
I mean, now they might randomly
아
win the
근데
game. if
제우스가
there's a toe.
라인전이랑 아까 장로 한타전에
It's,
준
it's
게 너무 크긴
possible. Like,
하다.
there's only one inhibitor down. The
그것만 아니면
inner
사실은 뭐.
in bottom lane is still up with full plates because this comp is a Kasante Ari comp, so not really split pushing a whole lot. But
Yeah, the side laning is not necessarily the most dangerous. Well, it looks like HLE are actually able to get some Baron vision here as well. Might even be able to
어?
take this crab as a
바론을
teleport
이쪽에서
in
먼저 한다고.
from the Kasante, but Kanavi successfully takes that crab away.
Zeka does not have TP, only has Weaver's Wall. So if they were able to get the Weaver's Wall out of him, it would have been a huge win.
Oh, and Closer doesn't quite finish off the death cap. I think that could have been a huge thing.
The timing of that
Take it,
play,
take it.
unfortunately, doesn't really help DNS that much because the Baron wasn't actually
Take it,
up.
take it.
So
뽑아야
HLE are just
되는데.
kind of like, all right, well,
그래야지
you're
딜
obviously not
나오는데.
doing Baron, so we can actually regroup and it won't matter. Zeka is clearing these top minion waves as quickly as he can so they can have a fair fight here. I
백캡을
think DNS are going to have to be
딜이라도.
decisive. They have all the
아이고.
tools to win this game.
And honestly, if they just play it out, you know, calm and collected, they should be able to take this to a game number 3. We'll just have to see. HLE, they have some tricks up their sleeves.
I mean,
that's 4 items on Gumayushi. Like, he's very scary.
If they end up getting like a huge
치기
Tempered Fate
시작했다.
into massive shove, you
바론으로
know,
부른다.
there is a miracle
바론으로
win
불러.
con or a Kanavi steal again.
Oh God!
오,
Don't
그만,
let it
그만,
happen,
그만,
DNS.
그만.
Do not let him into that pit. As Voltbreaker getting charged, Zeka taking a fair bit of damage here from the poke out of DNS. As Pyoshik over the wall, Dudu just tanking up the Baron.
Pyoshik's positioning here really strong.
Oh, Pop Blossom finds Gumayushi and Zeus as well. Guma goes into the Tempered Fate.
Guma.
Delight trying to keep him safe, but Dudu will jump on top of him. Goes all out to take him down.
빼봐.
Poser is dead as well.
일단
though,
빼봐.
as Pyoshik gets into that back line. And Delight looking a little worse for wear.
아니 이거
HLE, they are backing away.
지각
They
변동을
have
너무
lost
너무
Guma,
늦게 나왔다
but
이게.
they've traded 1-for-1, and if you're losing by
니코
this
올
much,
때부터 지각 변동
1-for-1
깔았으면
ain't
딱
bad.
좋았을
Yeah,
텐데.
Pyoshik actually doesn't end up getting that much value because the fight happens away from his flank. And he has Hextech Soul on the Wukong, and the Cyclone should be insane, but
저거
he actually
이즈랑
only uses it after the
바론이면은
retreat is really in full
뒤지는
effect.
텐데.
For HLE, you know, he's being zoned by Delight here, so when the Pop Blossom hits, the Wukong still isn't here. Closer's follow-up is immense. It is so quick, but the Tempered Fate actually buys a lot of space here for them to retreat out. Even though Guma dies, so much damage has been done to Duckdom that DNS have to play this really slow. The Cyclone value is relatively low. They end up only trading 1-for-1, like you said. It's not really a one exchange for them.
유쾌하지
And a
않아.
few more fights like this, and Hanwha Esports will have that inhibitor up. I mean, it's up in 80 seconds. This game is still
그 전에 생각 많이 날
somehow,
거야.
some way playable.
Well, a second Elder Dragon
Elder.
Wolf. Let's see whether that is going to be enough to change the tables, as Kanavi could be in
카나비.
trouble. Another Cyclone
나비요.
from Pyoshik. True Shot Barrage,
좋댔.
a lot of damage.
And the Slayer.
Kanavi just
살리자.
barely
아,
survives.
일단 살긴 했다.
As it's a hot cup of cocoa
살면
delivered
뭐해?
from
잘
Delight to
먹기잖아.
help him out there. But now he has to go back.
Yeah, I mean, he's
and
not
so that
dead.
should be free Elder.
He's not dead, but he's effectively dead because he cannot.
He's not dead, but he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh
시간이라도,
no! Well,
시간이라도.
Tempered Fate is going to make the Elder golden.
By time,
And
by
then
time!
it's dead.
Hexgate in, Kanavi, come on!
Oh dear, so that is second Elder Dragon for DNS. How many Elders does it take for DNS to kill a Nexus? Is it 2?
The last, bro, they know the answer.
차라리 엘더
that'd be a
먹히고 저걸
spoiler.
썼으면
Aye.
아닌가.
It's
야,
there
엘더의
weren't enough
장로까지.
Elders in that game. There were not enough. This time there's at least 2, and let's see whether it's going to be when paired
So-
with
3명까지
like, this
내준
is
게 너무
Exodia.
크다.
They're putting Exodia together right now.
It's Exodia with Hextech Soul and the 4 Drake to 0. It could only be more Exodia if they had 3 grubs to end these turrets'
Oh
lives.
yeah, true. Can't be
바텀이라요.
true. No, but Exodia is 3, isn't it? Oh wait, is
바로
Exodia
그리고
5?
미드로.
I didn't play enough Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is 5.
Yeah, we need
Left, left.
I need
foot,
Kangas.
left
Where's Kangas?
arm,
He's
right
the
foot, right
Yu-Gi-Oh
arm.
guy.
Yeah. And then the Forbidden One himself.
Yeah.
All right, well,
아이 듬파한테
Doc
지단
Dom, I don't know
이거는
about that. Doc Dom.
he doesn't get shoved, and he has,
He has
GA.
a GA. But like that was
듬파한테
still
지는
very
날은
unfair.
진짜
unlosable,
X됐다는 건데
unlosable.
그냥.
Stop it, Wolf.
Unlosable situation.
I've seen the game in this position. Okay, Pop Blossom from Peter finds absolutely nothing as
씨,
Gumayushi
그만,
actually
그만,
walked into the
그만,
snare
그만.
part of it. And will be backing away. The dragon
한 명이라
almost
죽으면 바로 끝난다,
takes him
이거.
down as he gets back
한 명,
towards the
아리
fountain.
잘 걸렸어, 아리 잘
He will
걸렸어.
just get 1-2 punch, but Kanavi is
한
gonna
명만
get
더, 한 명만 더,
answers.
한 명만 더
Zeus goes
따라.
down as well. First Nexus turret to fall. Doc Dom and
이걸 또
Dudu
버텨내네,
now
미친놈들.
standing
와,
back,
씨.
but that could have gone way worse.
I mean,
for
they have this,
HLE.
the cannon minion here. The top wave is super far away.
I mean, DNS have Exodia Wolf. They have that should be game over.
Yeah, I think it will be because Dudu
아,
should
네, 끝나가?
That's
아,
a lot of
끝났다.
health bar. My goodness, he has so much health
아마도?
bars. Okay, Peter almost dead. As Gumayushi sitting at full
이거,
health here.
이거,
Doc
두두만
Dom
어떻게 봐,
looks
두두만.
for the angle, has to flash
두두만
it out
어그로
of the way.
졸라
The
끌고
seismic
있어,
shot.
지금.
Dudu is basically immortal in this game. Just hit the Nexus.
에이,
Just
덕담,
hit the
덕담 좀 줘봐,
Nexus.
덕담 좀.
As the dragon
덕담
comes
좀
down
누가
from the
어떻게
sky,
해봐,
Dudu
덕담 좀.
almost dies to the fountain, but DNS
아,
bring us to 3
미치겠다.
games.
아니,
They
씨발,
do bring
하나
us to
어쩌다 이렇게
3.
망가졌냐.
Man, Duck Dom was
What
like, I am a Hextech Soul Elder buffed, nearly full
아니, 얘네
build, full
전략을-
build on previous patches.
Yes, there is
Ezreal,
enthusiastic DNS guy.
Why is the most important fight of the game happening when the minions are spawning in front of me while I'm trying to hit my Qs? This is really annoying. As ultimately DNS won the game a while ago, but it took a little while for it to normally end.
That looked way too playable for HLE at the end there. I got very frightened that we were going to have another very depressing end to a game.
Kanavi on Baron, insane. Kanavi on Elder, dying before Elder is not ideal.
Yeah, that was
dichotomy
not-
of Kanavi in this one.
Yeah, He was like, there was a Raptor camp that was up, Wolf. That must have been what it was.
Zayas did an insane amount of damage.
아 딜그래프도 진짜
very
너무
This was one of the scariest like 0-7 Auroras that I've ever seen. However, it was not enough. Dr. Arm doing massive amounts of work in this game. But honestly, it was a little bit of funny business, a little bit of silly stuff. And DNS, they took control of the game from basically the very beginning. And
탈리안
this time,
딜을 거의 못
they never let go.
넣었고
So I
제우스는
want to say,
딜만
hats
넣는 거
off to the coaching staff. They told DNS, you know what, guys? Play it slow, cool, calm, and collected, and you can win. And guess what? That's precisely what they did. And they brought us to 3 games, which is exactly what we wanted here
1대1
today.
뭐야
We
저거.
are going to go to a short break. When we get back, ladies and gentlemen, we did with a very clean sheet, ready to take you through exactly what went wrong for HLE. Then we'll have game number 3. See you soon.
아 진짜 아니지. (3셋에) 다시 이기겠습니다.
everyone, welcome back to Chijijik Law Park here in the space. Digon alongside Oxenwood did as the DN Automotive Supers tied this one up. And a little bit of a quiz here for you. When was the last time that this franchise beat Hanwha Life Esports?
Oh man,
Take a guess.
that's rough.
I didn't expect the midweek Digon's Fact of the Week.
I think 3 years.
I think, I was going to say, I'm going to go 2023 summer.
Close. 2022 summer. And guess who was on that Hanwha Life Esports roster that took the loss in the top lane? That's right. It was Dudu on that team who's now trying to win for the first time since LCK Summer 2022. So in all competitions, a lot on the line here for him and for their group. Remember, this is the #1 seed of that group against the #4 seed of that group when the draft was done. But that's the state that we're in. It's all tied 1-1 here. Ox, what did you make of that last game?
Yeah, I mean, this game was chaotic, and I think there was overwhelming odds for DNS with some of the buffs they had, especially at the end, and still it felt like a lot of work had to be done. But I think there was just a lot of groundwork done, particularly with the Dragons. And we've talked a lot about how the game's a lot harder to end because Baron's weaker, Baron's a lot harder to take. And it's really emphasized dragon
장난하고
stacking, and
DNS한테
especially if you
1패
get a
내준 것도
Hextech
진짜 너무
Soul,
끔찍하다
it really
그냥.
puts you in a powerful spot. And we ended up in a situation where, well, that's dragon #1.
Yeah.
Right? Not a big deal.
아,
You know,
씨.
sometimes you just get a free
1세트
dragon.
때까지만 해도
The second Drake where they tried
to
it
get it.
first
됐구나,
and they couldn't get
했는데.
it.
Okay, so I mean, 2 dragons, not a big deal. We'll contest the third one. It's
아
fine.
밑바닥부터 다시 올라가는 거냐
Yeah, I mean,
하나생명.
they should contest the third Drake, right?
Oh.
But what is happening? This is #3 Drake,
Okay.
and nothing is happening.
And see, this is where the problem arises, because once you give over 3, well, you can't let another one go from then on out. So now they're like, okay, we have to contest this one. And Pyosik slides in, gets the steal, and now they have Hextech Soul for the rest of the game. And what's really frustrating to deal with is you're against a composition where you have things like an Ezreal with a long-range poke, and they're so skill shot reliant. So you get slowed, and those charms are hitting, those mystic shots are hitting. And the thing is, how do we get here, right? We've just shown 4 dragons going down. That's a long period of time. What was Hanwha Life Esports doing during the downtime?
So yeah, I mean, we were figuring out why they couldn't contest the Drakes, and I think whenever you think about their team composition, we already know Vi and Talia works really well together. So I think they should be able to make some plays by themselves because they have the priorities, they have Corki Bard, but what happens in game in fact is that they couldn't really make the clean plays. Yeah, here Kanavi didn't use anything because of the light he saves with the Tempered Fate, but nothing really happens. This is a moment where Vi wants to use the ultimate. Vi wants to do the skirmishes with Talia, but they have to back out. They had to like release the tempo, and here Talia tries to roam both sides without Vi, by the way, and nothing is gonna happen. So I think they tried to do something, but nothing really happened. I think that also comes from I would say like unsynced from their mid jungle, because I think Talia Vi should just work together.
And the fact that even getting the flash
바텀
from the Nico
그
here
로밍 올
feels really
때마다
bad.
한 번도 성공하는
You
거
know, into this composition,
본
you have
적은
2
있는데.
champions who can summon clones, 2 champions who have dashes and Ezreal Nari. I mean, a lot of
더비
dashes on the enemy
성공률이
team
너무 낮아.
composition. It's hard to find good targets, but here as well,
뭔가
you know, it ends up being
진짜
HLE
필요한
or a team
순간엔
they don't
더비
find the
성공률이 너무
engage
낮아.
they want, and every single attempt like this that goes wrong, it's just kind of killing their momentum and giving windows over to DNS
로밍 올 때만
to set
생각해보니까
up
다
for those
성공했네.
dragons.
Yeah, again, it's not like
오늘
they don't
특이한
have the
건데.
champion
오늘
for the
하필 특이하냐고.
playmaking. I think they should put the light on the easier champions, something like Nautilus, Leona, like click to engage, and I think that helps a lot, because I think this kind of comp you have to know like what plays you want to
근데
take to
딜런
the fight.
잘했다고
So
생각하는데.
I think it's a little bit harder for them right now at this point.
And obviously they did start fighting back towards the end, right? We actually had some more competitive fights despite everything. But I just think that looming threat of the Hextech Soul made it so hard to fight your way back into this game. And it meant that, you know, eventually DNS could rack up both the Baron and the Elder, and that's just enough to close out the game. There's nothing you can do. Even the game-ending push, there was some flubs from DNS, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, we're focusing on that because the DNS comp seemed pretty straightforward, self-explanatory. You needed to make the plays early by Hanwha Life Esports. They were not able to, and it is no longer an opportunity for a clean 2-0. What it is an opportunity for one of these squads to go on a 2-game winning streak. Let's see who it will be.
지면은 진짜.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that breakdown of game number 2. And it was, you know, weirdly more difficult for the DN Freaks to use Exodia to win the game than it would otherwise have been. However, a win do be a win. And now we'll just have to see whether they can do it again, as HLE, yeah, looking to try and get back on the horse, right? But with a little bit of a bump in the road in this series, could mean that that wheel has fallen off.
This time,
DNS don't have rules, do they? That's my bad.
사이드 또 레드 사이드 씨발 거.
Hey, that's a good point.
이 레드 사이드에 뭐가
This
있나?
time, DNS will
좋아요. 레드
be on
사이드.
blue side. Hanwha Life Esports looking for first pick on red
블루
side.
사이드 가면 안 돼? 아니 레드 사이드에서 실패했으면 블루 사이드 갈만도 하잖아.
I mean, the draft here gets a little bit tricky because a lot of the safe picks are gone in terms of AD carry, the Ezreal, the Corki. The Ahri pick kind of throws us for a bit of a loop. I think the Ryze stocks are way up.
Oh yeah.
We've seen Ryze into Taliyah so many times, but the Taliyah was picked and they just opted for the Ahri answer, which worked out. Like, Closer made some really big plays, but that means Ryze is still available. I think that will be where Hanwha Life Esports are looking here in this draft, especially with this Yunara ban, which would have been the other pick I thought might be first pickable. I know Guma has shied away from it in the past, but I think we've seen a bit of an evolution.
Yeah.
And on the side of DNS, they're just going to keep
구마가
banning
찌든
those
제카가
OP
찌든
jungle
누가 한
picks.
명 게임
Yeah,
좀
it's kind of
뛰어줬으면
interesting
좋겠다.
to see the Ambessa ban. I thought that would be the one that would be
컨디션 안 좋은 것
dropped in
같다.
favor of the
그냥.
Ryze. Because I think you still have to ban Rumble, that is just
카나비도
guaranteed. But with Ryze kind of looming, it is a little bit of a scary
보트가 그나마
situation.
If Hanwha ban Ryze here, then something interesting is going to happen. Okay.
No, it's Mup.
한태영.
We got Mup coming through. As Pantheon is going to be taken away. Ja once again.
So Zeka on Ryze, not his best champion,
아
but it
씨발.
is a pick that is incredibly powerful right now. Oh, just first pick Aphelios Lulu.
I was thinking that one could be the way to play it. It is Doc Dom. There is no Vi to worry about.
You probably have to get the Lulu right here.
I would agree.
Or they will take it away and try to outlane you.
Just have to see what the answer is going to be from Gumushi. We did see Taeun on the Caitlyn yesterday. That was something that was able to lane quite effectively as the Cassiopeia answer. You don't need to pick that here.
No, you really don't. If Delight takes a Lulu away, I mean, he'll obviously have to have a strong pairing with it to justify it.
Oh, okay.
Guma has been a bit of a Ziggs player as of late.
He has sort of, he jumped on the Ziggs bandwagon. He probably heard that Orcs was here and was like, how do I make
구마가 직스 쓰는 거 진짜 싫은데.
Well, this is one way to do it. As he will lock that one in.
더 잘하는 챔프 많잖아.
Seen many times.
The risky thing about picking Ziggs, though, is if you don't play well, you will become you'll make Ox an anti.
Oh, that's true.
아니 구마는 잘하는 거
support
따로
the
있지
block
않나?
for some extra lane pressure.
That would
try to pick Lulu into this.
Well, see whether they do actually.
It actually could kind of work, to be totally honest.
That's too many mages, Wolf. They'd only be picking mages, as Nautilus is what's going to be locked in.
The draft got significantly less magical.
AD도 갈 건데.
But that's okay. It's still quite magical.
Well, now that it's the Nautilus, I suppose you still just can go for the Lulu here, and then they'll have to ban a lot of different jungle bruisers to make the Lulu value a little bit less. Or you can just go Rel instead.
That's
아니 쟤는 잘하는 시그니처 픽들
Peter right
많이
now
하는데
is very
우리는
much in the
이상한 것만
mindset
하냐.
of I will engage on them.
Yes. And so playing Lulu is not going to allow him to do that. So an interesting thought, because now the Aphelios is going to have nowhere near the same amount of peel, and there is already a Nautilus there, right? So the depth charge will always go off. So
you can satchel after that. You can obviously drop your ultimate down as Guma on top of the Aphelios for free. It's kind of hard to avoid that in general. Okay, so tanking again in the top side. Dudu's like, I'm going to make a front line for this Aphelios since we don't have a Thresh or a Lulu.
Yep, Dudu really wants to play Renekton. I think that is what I'm seeing here is Lee Sin going to be taken away from Pyosik. This is certainly one of his better champions.
That was the pick I had in my mind, actually, for how this comp might work out here for DN Supers.
Kiana.
그래서 카나비 키아나
If your opponent picks Kiana in the LCK,
쓸
though,
생각도
isn't that a
없었던
good
것
thing?
같은데.
Oh wait, it's Kanavi. Never mind, he is an LPL
처음에 쓴 데
jungler. We have to remember that.
I think
Kiana.
it might hint as to what they want to do with this comp, and it is very strong with the already strong setup they have with this Nautilus. Not a lot of easy engage champions left in the jungle pool. I'm kind of wondering if we end up seeing like Renekton here. I don't think we're gonna see Nidalee, but some sort of other unique pick here coming out from Pyosik.
표식은
Like
시그니처 킨드레드.
Sejuani maybe
근데
could
킨드레드가
work
나올 리는
here.
없으니까.
Man, think about like the double horse.
I mean, Hecarim actually kind of good.
Oh
this,
my
this
God.
really will need
나올
a
리
front line
없다지만.
of some kind. I don't think you can play the Kindred or the
생각해보면은
Graves without
He
Dudu
wants
being on.
to shoot. The man wants to shoot. It's
Hecarim!
the double
Hecarim.
horse! Okay, that's kind of fun.
헤카림.
I don't know if it's good, but it certainly seems
We
to be
can
fun.
talk about it because it's
헤카림이 나왔어.
been seeing some niche play in solo queue with the Endless Hunger, and it is seeming to be quite potent at the moment. And it is going to force a response here from Hanwha Life Esports, looking for the Trundle. Trundle normally is really happy about taking out a tank, which I think is what Dudu is likely going to be playing in this draft, but also can really disrupt Hecarim's kit by just putting a pillar in front of him to make it difficult for him to actually close the gap.
Can be quite annoying.
Let's see what Zeus has in mind here, because
it has to be blind.
It has to be. It didn't work out for him with the Aurora pick last time around.
And yeah, well, blind Aurora, it sounded dangerous to me. Let's see what he is going to be locking in here.
Just blind Vayne.
Oh God.
Don't do it, please.
It'll just be
That's
Renekton.
the safest
Renekton.
aggressive blind top pick, and it's easy setup or follow up for the Nautilus engage. Pillar makes it a lot easier. Makes it a lot
I choose you. What do you reckon?
I still think he wants a tank, but with the Trundle here, it's really awkward. They don't have a front line in this draft really at all. The Rel doesn't count, especially if she goes Unsealed Spellbook, which I think probably is illegal in this draft. Aatrox, that's a...
He could have been playing
pseudo
new
frontline.
Aatrox, and he decided he just wants to play the old one.
A pseudo frontline here. Very skill-based matchup on the top side. Can be quite volatile. Jungle attention might have to be paid up there. And
왜
if
이렇게 질고
Guma
갔냐.
takes teleport, which he definitely should, you know, it's going to be hard to punish there on the bottom side. So I think we'll see a lot of jungle attention top and mid, maybe even pathing up to the top side of the map, which is quite unusual. You know, we're seeing a lot of jungle attention, obviously, on the bottom side of the map right now with the AD carry quest being as strong as it is. Zeka on Rise, I don't trust it necessarily. Like, I don't think he has... When you think about our big mid laners that have been in the LCK over the last 5 years, he's on that list, right? But Rise is iconic for so many of our mid laners in the LCK, and I don't think we can say that about Zeka. He's kind of the odd man out in that regard. But he needs to be able to do consistent damage in this draft because their Ziggs does not have necessarily that same sort of damage output. The Aphelios, later on in the game, especially with Duck Dom's, I mean, it's his best champion in his career. When you think about all the way back to when he first joined the LCK, the dynamics days, he needs to pop off. But I think he can. He's going to be such a consistent win con here in this game.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go. It's eclectic drafts on both sides. Game 3s are really fun for that reason. Let's get under the rift here for game number 3.
한생 화이팅.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens for game number 3. Pyosik looking pretty cool with that particular skin. Has no change-ups as far as what we're expecting out of the Keystones. Phase rush is pretty common. But when that Endless Hunger does come in, that's when we're going to see a little bit of deviation from the Hecarims that we've seen in the past. A little bit of fun there. As Closer doing a bit of work up against Zeka. Obviously, this Cassiopeia into Rise has been like the classic counter pick. But these Noxious Blasts landing in lane, kind of what you need to do to make sure that that one does happen.
this matchup here can be
We've
so
seen this one
volatile.
before, I think, Wolf.
Yeah, we certainly have. Obviously, the lifesteal and healing output of both of these champions makes it, if you're not a master of this matchup, difficult to judge when it is correct to trade and when it is correct to try to back away. The Renekton has the opportunity to look for really nice trading patterns into the Aatrox, but often just wants to cue the wave to heal. I think this lane feels very nice to play as Guma. The initial levels here. I don't think Zeus took a turret shot there. I'm not
초반은
sure,
뭐
actually.
무난무난하게 하네.
Seems a little worse for wear. Otherwise, should be fine. As Dr. Very well known for his Aphelios play. Kumyushi, though, himself, a little bit of an Aphelios aficionado and has played it already so far this season. Once again, him and Carrier did make the Aphelios Thresh pretty famous here in the LCK. Dr. has always been pretty good. That gun control, always something that he has been praised for. See whether that is going to continue here, as he has had some more difficult Aphelios games more recently. We do know that he has it in him to really be a hard carry on this champion as Delight. Looking for a bit of an angle here very early on. This is some Andal stuff that he's up to here.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive roam here, but it does not look like it's necessarily going to come to pass.
There's the flash, immediate flash away. As max range hook is going to connect. They're looking for Closer, who will survive. Delight didn't actually use the flash to make that one happen, though.
But Zeka
will also...
Yeah, both summoners on that.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And a teleport will get Closer back here, so he's not going to be punished that much.
Yeah, it'll take him a while to get back, but he will still lose a few of these minions. Or we'll still get most of the minions, really. I'm saying we'll lose some, but won't lose all, as you were basically saying. And Kanavi is going to try to level 4 Trundle gank and Aatrox with Flash. Okay, it looks like he was going to. That would be a very Kanavi thing to do, as Zeus is kind of trying to bait Dudu a little bit here, but I do not think this is going to, is actually going to complete the gank.
Yep. I believe. And meanwhile, here towards the bottom side of the map, as Delight had vacated, obviously Peter and Dr. are going to be feeling a little bit better. Let's see how this combo is going to go.
Koshik has
the third one. As we'll land the Infernal Chains. Okay, it is Grasp for Dudu and
so
Conqueror for Zeus, so if he had have kept fighting there, it could have been a little bleak.
Especially with Zeus getting more of that Fury, I think it's the right call to step away once that Conqueror sound effect is heard. As Closer knows that this
제카. 이건 진짜 아니야, 제카.
Finds the Twin Fang, and that is just a solo first blood for Closer.
I didn't need a roaming support to get this one.
What is it, 2025, Wolf?
Yeah, this is interesting. That was just a lot of damage coming out. Really good trading pattern there for Closer. No summoners.
That is a big lead that he's put together now as well. 400 gold.
And
아니 클로저한테 아니 오늘 뭐 날이야?
This is
두두한테
Closer's been a pretty
했다고.
good Cassiopeia player, right?
클로저가
Dudu
또
on Aatrox,
제카 했다고. 와 이거 뭐 날이네.
here, and they're starting this early game off really nicely.
뭐야?
Closer,
아니 저걸 왜 저 앞으로?
just as like, if you're going to try to be aggressive here, let's play that game, sure.
Yeah, he just
부빙도 안 되잖아. 아니.
did Twin Fangs.
Yeah, he was like, all right, when I press W, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and he did that. He's now got 2 red rocks.
내가
이제 before he'd even got that
편견
solo kill,
생기려고
so
그래 뭐.
a lot
제카라이즈는 그냥
purchased as he makes his way back in. Teleports for our top laners, making it back to lane.
Has his ultimate, and it's a combat ultimate, as that's a miss.
Yeah, well, Infernal Chains are broken here by Zeus, as the third Q is going to connect, but World Ender not quite available just yet here for Dudu. We'll have that one very soon, as it's 1 minion away.
Like, Closer can just keep trading with Zeka right now.
This is the problem, it doesn't get easy.
Yeah, and like, because he has an ult and Zeka does not, and I'm not talking about level 6, like, when Zeka has level 6, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He can't really have any prio ever, and that's going to be Dragon. Started up at least.
Well, Zeus having to deal with Dudu, who's having a bit of fun on his Aatrox. Actually, some of the best Dudu moments that we've had. Obviously, everyone knows the Dusante that we did just see, but his Aatrox as well has been something that he's really found great success on. I remember him on a red buff killing 3 people.
Well, it's crazy,
really
too,
one of the scariest things.
That Kingen and Zeus obviously have a lot more fame on this champion, but it's still fun to watch the matchup into Zeus, as we keep kind of zooming in on it. As you mentioned, it's volatile. I think the observers agree.
Well, Kanavi and Zeka both up here towards his top side, but Pyoshik is going to join. And he
아니
says,
뭐라도
"Please
일단은
leave,
속박을
everyone."
걸고
And they won't. They'll just kill him instead. Kanavi almost dead though as Dudu looking for some knockups. Closer here just a little too late. And HLE will be able to strike back.
It's a big win here for Honda Life Esports. Get this Renekton ahead. Take the Aatrox off the map. He will have to back eventually.
One thing to be said though is Pyoshik did what he wanted to do. Dudu didn't die.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, there's a
Oh,
flash crash down
잘
here from
들어갔다.
Peter as Doctom has red-white guns, but he's hitting the wave and not quite doing damage here to HLE. It's the flash out from Gumayushi as he finally decides that he wants to kill them. Let's see where the Shattering
아펠리오스
Strike is going to
딜 넣는 게
come through.
약간
His chakrams have
늦어가지고
really built up here for this Aphelios. He's scary, but HLE use both of their flashes and get themselves out.
렐
Doctom has
하자마자
ult, so
바로
this is really
했으면
scary. I don't think they want to
다
extend
락셀
this
수도
play any
있겠다.
further, HLE, that is. And in fact, Dudu was able to, because he didn't really take that much damage there, stay and finish clearing the wave. I thought that they were going to stick around a little bit longer and force him to back, or maybe try to look for a redive, but so much damage was done to the Trundle there that they do not actually opt for anything further.
It's going to mean that the gold has been evened up by that kill towards the top side.
Yeah, this game is incredibly close.
Yeah.
And we've seen, you
아,
know,
나
in both games a little
클로저한테
bit of errors in the
쏠켰다는
early
게
game, but
너무
not really coming to pass in
그거다.
this one. Just some really
충격이다.
aggressive play from Closer and a successful gank there on the Aatrox
아니
top
아무리
side.
라이즈라도
I mean, it was in exchange for Dragon, right? Like, they were able to get the Scuttle top side and then come over, and Pyoshik wasn't there fast enough, nor was Closer. So it kind of feels like they got a cross map, basically, in the end.
Yep. Peter now just going to be using some stacks of his World Atlas and heading probably back
메이지를
towards that bottom lane. But Delight's
깠다고
going to show up
하긴
as well, so a
했는데.
bit of a 2v2 here in mid.
The supports kind of got to get involved to keep this Rise relevant. As, you know, Peter comes over. Oh, a bit of a whiff.
Moonlight Vigil. It looked very cool. Didn't do very much. Zeus moving over here to help take down these grubs. Kanavi should be able to munch these ones.
It's
and
tough.
We'll be able to secure it.
Tough to dive bottom side here as a cross, especially when they're on control vision here. It's going to take so long to actually
다
set
먹자
this
다
up.
먹자.
Guma does not have flash.
유충 다
They're going to
먹자.
try to do it anyways. I mean, Delight has ult. He is Nautilus, so he can root them.
Yeah, does also have Aftershock as in goes Peter. They want to kill this Ziggs. Let's see whether they can actually find him. There's the shadows, but down goes Peter. And Pyoshik now at full health. Does have to deal with Zeka rotating over, but Closer is right behind him.
I think it's worth. Zeka had to ult there, or I mean, didn't have to, but opted to, and isn't able to really impact the play. Closer crushing mid this hard has made the rest of the map really feel quite strained for Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, I'd agree. But it's 1-for-1, sort of all over the place after, you know, those first couple of kills did go down. And so if that continues, then this game is going to stay pretty close.
It's a kill for the Aphelios versus a kill for the Nautilus, but
that's a good point.
At the end of the day, I mean, they still got grubs too, right? So it's not just that play there. That play was forced because they gave grubs on the top side. So Pyoshik was like, we have to get something back, and they were able to at least get that BF sword put together here for Doctom.
Yep, Zeus just going to not really care too much about these chains. So we're going to have a look at this play one more time.
Yeah, Guma doesn't have flash. The Calirum shot does miss, and Delight just ults Peter to make sure they get the kill, and that is all they are going to get. But pretty self-explanatory there. Like, not much Guma could have done. Delight did the right thing, and it ulted the turret aggroed target.
Yep, satchel placement was just a little bit unfortunate. Didn't manage to walk over to the right angle, and so therefore wasn't able to save his life.
It's so hard in that moment with the ulting Hecarim and all that.
There were a lot of bad guys.
Kanavi is a bad guy.
He is. And he's going to be able to throw down a parking cone here. There's a subjugate as well, and Dudu is just dead. Sliced and diced.
Oh,
turned into sushi.
To be clear, I mean, from Dudu's perspective, I think Kanavi's pretty great. Like, I don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah, true.
아니 제카야 이제
You know,
don't get it
제카
wrong.
형 제발.
Please don't misunderstand.
Yeah.
He's ex-LPL, it's fine now.
저 미드만 보면
He used to be a bad guy. Not anymore.
There was that arc where he played for Team Korea where I was like, he's good again?
Yeah.
Then he went back to the LPL. But now he's on our side. Well, this is going to be, looks like another potential dragon take here for DNS. There's a contest, though. Peter on the flank.
Yeah, Moonlight Vigil does go down, but there's the hook on to Doctom. Has to flash out of the way of the Mega Inferno Bomb. The bouncing bomb's flying forward as well, but it's Delight to go down first. Petrifying Gaze, and it's a double here for Pyoshik. Zeus has eyes only for Doctom, but he's not able to get up to him.
라이즈가 못 놓고 있잖아. 전혀 못 놓고 있잖아.
Moving forward, the flash from Dudu as well. Doesn't find the Q, but Pyosik pounces on the crocodile. And Zeka and Gumayushi, I don't think they're
아,
going to have
제카는
enough to
은퇴할
be able to
때까지
take
라이즈는
them
그냥
down.
안
All
했으면
these
좋겠다,
health bars are
진짜로.
so low, Infernal Chains.
이건
not
진짜
gonna be
아니야.
enough. And that's the kill over to the Rel of all people. As Doctom needs to try and fight this dragon, as there's the satchel. It gets a little bit distracted, does the dragon, but Pyosik smites it down. And Gumayushi just being frustrated. No one really wants to fight him right now.
아니 용동지 안쪽에 있으면 딜을 아예 못 넣잖아.
I think Peter is just dead. Gumayushi will finally be able to take him down, I assume. But the crashdown comes on full. Oh no.
Hextech
He
gate.
takes the Hextech gate to safety.
아무리 라이즈가 지금 초반이고 약하다고 하더라도 이건 좀 아니잖아, 진짜.
You know, technology. We've moved past supports dying randomly like that.
I guess so. Wow, technology really has come a long way.
Duckdom does not have his summoner spell.
Yeah, what about 80 carries just dying? That could be a thing that happens here, as he's got Infernum and Severum not really helping out here, and it's just going to be a bonk to the noggin to take him down. Kanavi going to grab some plates from this turret as well.
So you didn't get Peter, but you got the next best thing. In fact, the even betterest thing.
Yeah, the betterer thing.
Bestester.
Yeah.
So in this fight, Peter's flank here looks like it's going to be the main thing, but really it's just the setup for everybody peeling for Duckdom and then the Petrifying Gaze just being the cherry on top here. Guma pressed his buttons and he's like, I'm not an 80 carry. You know, I know Zeus, you want to get on the
저기서
back line,
왜
but Duckdom's
저기
keeping him at arm's
들어가가지고
length.
딜을 하고
Just cannot offer,
그거 지금
unfortunately, enough
제일
damage. He's
궁금하다고.
putting it in every time his cooldowns are back.
용둔지에서 지금 슬로우 맞아오면서
Trying to put a few autos
지금
in
딜하고
there, but the
있잖아.
Aphelios is always going to be more powerful in this type of skirmish if he lives.
Oh, Dudu. Great angle. And is able to cut him down. Peter stealing the kill away was a little bit sad, but still, this Aatrox is going to be pretty scary. Duckdom does have red-white, but I don't know whether that's going to be enough to actually do anything here, as he's just eaten by Kanavi again.
So the question we had was, will they be able to kill this Aphelios? They did not on the Dragon fight, but they have repeatedly done it when he's trying to farm in the bottom lane.
They got the memo. They were like, you know what? We should kill this Aphelios. And you know what they did? They killed him twice. So really good work.
Kanavi is taking the enemy red buff now.
Yeah, I don't think Pyoshik's going to be able to stop that one from going down, as Gumayushi also has a red buff as well.
Raptors have not been as successful for him.
No.
When you take the Aphelios off the map like that, you can take even more. You can take the jungle.
Oh, dear. Zeka he was almost out, but now he's pretty dead.
Yeah,
as the horses just canter on top of him. Oh, no.
It sounded like he was going to be able to complete the recall, but
that's what I thought, too.
I guess not.
Well, Dominus, World Ender, we've got ultimates coming out here from both of our top laners, as Dudu is just thinking that maybe no is going to be his answer for whether or not he wants to fight. As there are a lot of people making their way up towards his top side. As Hextech Minefield goes down, and Dudu, I think, is just dead. Depth Charge might be enough to finish him off, but Gumayushi, he has the damage and is able to take down the Aatrox.
This is going to be an exchange for a bit of crescendum damage here on the mid turret. Kanavi does not know that Duckdom is not alone.
Well, it's 2 plates immediately taken down here as Pyosik might be in trouble as he takes about 1 billion turret shots. Onslaught of Shadows to try and get him to safety, but he gets smote. The Magnet Storm is not enough to save the horse, and Duckdom, oh dear, he is once again the target, and he is once again dead.
Delight is having a game.
He is.
He is everywhere. He's hitting these max range dredge lines. He was almost able to get Zeka ahead in the lane. He is omnipresent, it feels, in this game, and it pays off in a big way here as Duckdom still did not have his flash there.
And it looked like DNS were actually in a good position and have since just kind of been at the mercy of HLE in back-to-back plays, and despite that team fight going well, they're now behind 3,000 gold.
Yeah, it's really, really quite rough. As this looks initially like it's going to be a really successful setup here. Gosha gets him taking a lot of damage. The cone here actually makes him really take a bunch of extra damage. They just focus him down. And then Duckdom is like, maybe I could do something to get dredge lined. He was going to die no matter what, but, you know.
Ghost not really helping him.
Not very
in that
helpful.
moment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ghost is on his previous team and not this one. As HLE looking to take down this Rift Herald, they should be able to do so pretty comfortably. Kanavi with the King's Tribute gets full health immediately afterwards. Feels pretty cool there as Moonshot discovers Gumayushi and Delight.
오케이, 전령까지
maybe a turret
먹었으니까
going down for closer to get some additional time. Not going to be around to defend this one though, so could just straight up be a trade. It looks like that is going to be the case.
Yep.
It takes him a little bit of time to clear that wave, but I think he should get it. there in the bottom lane. The mid turret incredibly more valuable though.
Yeah, not actually going to be able to make his way towards it because there are a lot of bad guys moving down towards that bottom side.
Really unlucky for him. Wow.
The minions almost take it down. And I mean, that is just kind of standing gold waiting to go over to DNS. But still,
they are now having their eyes on this dragon, which would be Hextech soul points. There's a way back into the game. That is absolutely it. That's additional peel for the Sibelius. All those slows are going to feel amazing if they can secure it. And when you look at the setup here for this fight, they have full prio. They have Ghost and ult for Pyoshik. So this is, I think, the last stand here for DNS. If they mess this fight up, if they cannot win this one cleanly, might just be all downhill from here.
There's the minefield. Pyoshik taking a bit of damage from that as Dudu now looking for that flank angle as Pyoshik's running real quick.
Zeka just wants to ult in.
Yeah.
He can both clear this wave and then ult in. And DNS are not being decisive. They want to either push Zeka or start this drag, and Dudu's trying to collapse the other side.
This
HLE.
ward is getting so much value, it is absolutely ridiculous. Onslaught of Shadows does come in, but Zeka was ready for it as they saw exactly what they wanted to do. Pyoshik's running real fast with that Ghost, but Zeka used his as well as the Flash. But now no Onslaught of Shadows, and Dudu in the back of this Dragon Pit does have to get himself out with that Umbral Dash.
I mean, basically, HLE have checkmate here with his position. I mean, Zeka lost his sums, but they lost the Hecarim ultimate, so I think they're pretty okay with the trade, because Zeka could just use his ult to get into this fight at any moment here. DNS are going to have to find an angle with Peter, or just leave, question mark? I guess they're just going to say, look, I mean, this is just not viable. It was checkmate. Nice try.
And Rift Herald is piloted here by Delight. I don't know whether that's exactly what they wanted to do. Kanavi really likes putting down the Rift Herald so that he can get into it in a team fight. But that is not going to be the option. However, it's just one Hextech Dragon. It's not the end of the world here for DNS, but it does show that HLE really did put themselves back in a much better position after that initial loss team fight around the last Dragon.
There's a lot of ways to look at this. I think Hanwha positioning was phenomenal there with Zeka dealing with the minion wave, had it exactly where he wanted it, so he could both safely clear minions and Realm Warp in. They tried to push him, he got away, used his summons, but they're like, all right, use Hecarim ult. We just go back to the same setup. Dudu's collapse there felt pretty muted because they just could not actually stop the Rise from coming in and doing insane work. So Zeka was basically in two places at once there. I think the call to just not go for that fight feels painful, but because you have the scaling of Helios and you already have Double Dragon, if it was Hextech Soul Point for a DNS, you'd probably just send it there, right? Because you have the Double Dragon there, you're like, let's just scale, you know? Maybe Duckdom will get it done. He almost got it done on the Sivir in game one, so perhaps he's going to be our win con again.
Looking for an Infinity Edge. Should be coming in pretty quickly. Only needs about 1,400, something like that. And then he will be ready. Red-white guns put together now, but not really a fight to use them on just yet. Is Gumayusi able to farm at range very, very comfortably. 2 items done here for Pyoshik. Does finish off the Black Cleaver as item number 2. Spear of Sojourn was the first choice. Still yet to have that new one. But we'll see whether he puts that together next. As he does have a possible angle. There is the Onslaught of Shadows as he gets on top of Gumayusi. He flashes away. Hextech Minefield is there though, and down goes the horse with 0 response from DNS. As Dudu now looking for it against Zeus here. Hits basically everything that he wants to, but does still have to get himself out as Peter crashes over the wall. That is going to keep him safe.
It looked like a huge opportunity for Pyoshik and crew. There's just no follow-up.
Yeah.
Guma flashed, and that was the end of the story. Very valuable flash, but ultimately nothing comes of it. If this was a different scenario where the follow-up was ready, it could have actually been what gets DNS back into this game. I mean, the gold lead has kind of ballooned up to 5,000 here.
Yeah, this is the thing. HLE are just taking incremental advantages.
And it's mostly turrets. You know, they're actually getting significant real damage onto the map here. As Peter is blast coning away when this happens. The cone blocks Duckdom from red light.
So good.
They just cannot do anything here to follow up. And the engage is wasted. And similarly to Pyoshik's attempted save on the top side, he's just like, I did the thing! And then he promptly dies.
Yep. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to get too much done. He does have 4 of the team's kills out of the 7, so he's not exactly super far behind, but he has died quite a few times.
So many of Pyoshik's iconic wins in the LCK have been with this champion in late game scenarios where he saves the game. Dudu.
Yeah, there's the Umbral Dash flash. Unfortunately, there's a cone. And sometimes a cone is all you need. And that is what takes down Dudu yet again. 0-3 now on the Aatrox as Closer here towards the top side. Will be able to take some plates here and does have a minion wave conga lining in. So might be able to get even more. We'll see. That turret is still pretty healthy, and this Cassiopeia doesn't do a massive amount of damage to them. Does have the first 2 items completed though. Those scaling ones are now done. But HLE are just taking an inner turret here towards the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think that this is not really the trade that DNS wants, but it's the only trade that HLE will allow.
Yeah, and they're also going to take an inhibitor.
I will receive an inhibitor turret and possibly an inhibitor. You will receive almost a top lane turret.
Well, that's another minion wave coming in. So they are going to back away. Doctor does move down here, but if they knew what we knew, then they probably could have almost killed Doctor and still managed to take out that turret.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually occur there, as they didn't have enough information about who was on the map. Well, and does make a lot of sense.
Playing safe is not always the MO of this team, but in this case, I think it is the correct call.
I would agree.
The dragon spawns in 30 seconds. It's the same sort of Hail Mary. If DNS lose this fight, it's over, but it feels like this fight is just impossible. They had the checkmate position last time. Zeka's got his sums back up. I mean, they need a miracle here. And it's going to have to start with Pyosik somehow.
Yep. Dr. has 1 shot left on this Graviton. See what he's going to use it for. He might just use it on the wave. Yep. Does just want to get towards Severum now.
And Fernum could be decent in this fight, but
Red and White is very close to being set up, and Infernum Ultimate could actually be very dangerous, though. So let's see.
It's going to require Pyosik to make something happen here. He's flashless, so he has to get over the wall manually before he goes in. He doesn't want to ult that. Wants to get on top of the champions with that ability.
여기는 라이징과 쉽게 막을 수 있겠다.
Turning their attention towards this mid lane, wanting to get control there as the Dragon going down lower and lower. Zeus and Dudu just fighting off to the side. Minefield is put down there by Gumayusi. Zeus gets into the pit. On top of DNS as they look for the angle. Dragon is secured here by HLE, but now the fight is on. Down goes to Light.
너무 강해. 덕담 너무 강해.
Doctom. Zeka able to hold him in position with that Rune Prison though. And so it is just a kill and trade for the Dragon, and I think HLE are pretty happy with the outcome.
HLE's setups on both of these Dragons have just been kind of unbreakable, infallible. There's no way for DNS to make a play here. And when it comes down to the Smite fight, that's when they look for the engage. And look at this, Closer is the target. Delight uses the Aphelios to taxi his way, and Closer goes super low, so he can't offer damage. It's only Duckdom who can do that. Delight sacrifices himself to guarantee they get the Smite, and also to prevent Pyosik from really getting into a position to actually set anything up there.
Yeah, Pyosik almost just died to a minefield alone. Yeah. Like, it was just like he just cantered around the minefield and almost died.
And like now, Duckdom has IE, but Guma almost has Death Cap. And it's not equivalent what these items breakpoints mean, obviously, because it's an 80 carry that's doing consistent damage versus Guma doing big burst, but we have as much control as Han will have and continue to remain in control of, and you get a bunch of ability haste from these 2 Hextech Dragons. You're feeling pretty good if you're the Death Cap wielder, which he will be very soon.
Why is Pyosik a level ahead of Zeka? Okanavi is Zeka.
He didn't have the greatest time in the lane.
Yeah.
He died 3 times. I suppose there could be some digging we could do, but
yeah, I think we could probably figure that one out.
I mean, they almost has 200 CS.
Oh, Peter does have a Shattering Strike to offer back here after the dredge line does connect. DNS standing their ground. Closer is pretty scary, but he's been pretty quiet over the last little while.
The Baron Pit is the scariest place to be into a Hecarim composition.
But also, there's a Ziggs.
Yeah. I kind of think that this game's going to slow down to the next Dragon again. Because, like, the side lane that we've seen HLE do, there's a limit to it, right? Like, they can't actually push any further. It's not safe to do so. They are going to start this Dragon up. I'm a little bit surprised by this, but they have insane vision.
Yeah, there is a ward down, and so DNS do know what's going on. Duckdom, he's got the long-range weaponry this time around.
They got the TP out of the Aatrox.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah, so Dudu is just going to step on a minefield.
Steps on a Lego.
Big old shield. That's called wearing shoes before you
And now DNS are going to try to threaten something here? I don't think so. So like I said, we're going to have the next fight on the Dragon.
Yes. It's what it is looking like, 26 minutes into the game. But this one, I mean, it's still 5,000 the lead for HLE. They still have a lot of control.
Closer almost level 16. You know, he is a big secondary threat in these fights.
That's a cool hat for Gumayusi.
All that DNS need to win a fight, even 5,000 gold lead here, be damned, is some setup here with Closer and Peter. Or maybe if the Hecarim can actually do something this game, it would be great.
Yeah, Peter is in trouble, does crash over the wall, has to flash to avoid that one. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, and Peter is so close to dead. Zeus will be able to get it done as there's a roll-off. Petrifying Gaze onto 2, and the Onslaught of Shadows comes through as well. Docdown trying to get the damage down as he flashes out of the way. Good use of the Graviton there to peel for himself. Zeus just makes his way out. And Moonlight Vigil, I don't think that's going to quite be enough there. Zeus is pretty tanky. Still, it's a lot of things he can do from a very long range, but still not able to kill the Crocodile.
Is it enough to stop the Baron? I don't think so. Zeus needs to be careful, though.
Yeah, Kanavi is so incredibly healthy as well. He can tank this for days.
There's no engage. There's no way to get on top of Guma. He can actually stand in the front. He does not care. And I think that is just finally going to be the Baron going over here for Hanwha Life.
Yep. And they also got the flash out of Docdown as well as the Ghost. So next fight is going to be even easier on this Hextech Dragon. Quadra Hextech Soul could be coming in here for HLE if the game lasts that long.
This feels like same story as game 1. Early game fine for DNS, lose control, and then HLE get every single Dragon. And sure, you got the Scuttle. But was it worth it? Was it worth it, Peter?
No, they didn't get the Scuttle.
Oh, actually, I thought they got it. Well, you almost got the Scuttle.
Yeah.
Was it worth it, Peter?
I would say no.
I mean, if you look at how this fight could have gone if there was just one little extra bit of CC, you know, HLE probably wouldn't have chased them through a choke point if Peter was alive and had ult at that moment, but a lot of damage on the Zeus.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now as DNS, you're like, well, that's it. We don't have any engage. We can't get them. We can't get the bad guys.
Well, this inhibitor turret is not long for the world. That's just going to blow up thanks to a satchel. Inhibitor is going to follow as well.
I mean, there were 2 in top lanes. They can just get this for free.
Yeah, teleport flank angle for the Cassiopeia of all champions as they take out 2 inhibitors.
They are kind of in an awkward spot here, though, with Closer's angle.
Yeah. As the Hex Gate for Zeus, he's on a pretty good flank angle as now Kanavi dives on top of the Snake Lady. Mega Inferno Bomb goes down and she will die. Onslaught of Shadows a little bit late in this one as Docdown is a target and he's swept up by Zeus. And HLE, I think, will now just parade towards the enemy Nexus and take it down. DNS, it was a decent start. They had that one good fight. But it's been all HLE the entire time since.
넥서스를 깨면서
and they will be able to pick up the win here and make it 2-0 on the week.
HLE bouncing back strong. It was not the most convincing series from this squad, and if you're having trouble picking POM, just vote Delight. You're welcome. I made the choice for you. It's really the right call. He was the most consistent performer across his team.
Gumayusi's going to win it though.
Yeah, but if you're having a moral quandary, if you're having an uncomfortable conversation with your fellow analysts or Chijijik chatters, and you're not sure if actually any vote is morally correct, just know that Delight is the right one. No one will ever be upset. He had a great series.
I would agree.
Every other player had amazing moments, but had less amazing moments as well.
Yes. I think Delight just over the entire series was definitely the most consistent player. His Bard game also actually had some decent moments, even if they did lose. And his Rakan was so good.
In Guma's defense, his Corki was pretty good even in the loss. His Varus was amazing, and his Ziggs was good enough. I mean, the whole team really just kind of won that one hard together in the final game. He was the one who hit the satchel onto the Aphelios at the very end on that final fight.
He was also using Ziggs, you know, and that is evolution here for Gumayusi. I know that even on T1 towards the end of last year had definitely had some great games, but
the bad
still
news,
not a pick that we associate with it.
The bad news, Atlas, I have to tell you the bad news.
Oh, tell me the bad news.
So we've had this trend. If you guys weren't here for the beginning of the broadcast, we have 5 game days and the teams tie up. So if you're a D+ fan, about to get 2-0'd.
Wait, or are they going to win 2-0?
No, because it's always, because then it would be
it has to
the
be
elder
tied.
teams would have won. So
so now it's the boring timeline.
It's 2-0 Genji. Sorry guys, unlucky.
Well, Grubelda move up to 9 points here, and like you're saying, if Gen.G managed to win this next one, then we have tied up groups. Let's have a look at some of the highlights here, as unfortunately, Pioshik on this Hecarim didn't exactly get as much done as he really wanted to. This was the good fight for DNS.
It's hard to play from behind. Yeah, this was the fight where Duckdom really did pop off, and obviously had a lot of help, right? Like, when DNS has been playing today, if Duckdom has frontline, he can shoot. It works really well. But when you fall behind, and Hecarim is just kind of watching the team fight and or stepping on a lot of Legos.
Yeah, there were a lot of Legos.
He's got 4 legs to step on them with, so it's really painful. This was a bit of a disaster, unfortunately. Duckdom also just a casualty of this play. Delight, really good performance. I know that was the funny thing everyone was talking about with the Recon in Game 2, but I think for me, he was the one who deserves it.
I think he played a very, very good series, but I also think that Gumiushi had a great one. His control with the Ziggs was absolutely fantastic. Very frustrating for DNS that they were never able to get on top of him. And like this minefield here, for example, meant that Closer was unable to do anything. And so even though this Cassiopeia was relatively fed at the early stages of the game, what did he do later on? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And then in this final moment here, Closer is a bit ambitious with his flank. They read it really well. And then watch Duckers. Guma's like, don't stand there. Yeah. Oh no! Zeus got him too! The XT1 players get him. 1-2 punch.
제우스가 받는다면 그거는 그거대로 놀라울 것 같고 고마유시가 받는다면은
He hates that team.
Well, right now you can see Dudu did a fair bit of damage, but Duckdom wasn't quite able to. Gumiushi able to layer in a whole bunch of those bombs and minefields and made life a living hell here for DNS. But I do want to say, DN Supers made him work for him. And this is a team that didn't do very much winning in their last year of play. And so now, looking a little bit better, you have to say.
This comp was a little bit tough to pull off here for DNS.
Man,
Closer had a great lane,
not a whole
and then
lot
didn't do anything after that. Look at he has more lane damage than he has in the rest of the game. I think this will come as a surprise to literally 0 people who have ever watched the LCK.
Indeed.
And I think it's deserved that Guma picks it up. I think he was probably the second best option in my mind. His Varus was absolutely insane in Game 1. You practically could have voted for him for that performance alone.
Yep.
자, 오늘 HLE 대 DNS 경기 잘 봤고요. 저는 다음에도 하나 경기 있으면은 오겠습니다. 그러면은 모두 좋은 하루 보내세요. 아, 졸려 죽겠다.